1,000 people in the U.S. died from a drug overdose in 2020. That is up from 71,000 in 2019. In Georgia, fentanyl-involved overdose deaths increased by more than 200% from the year 2019 to 2021. These numbers, many are working to bring down. A two-day memorial continues today in Forsyth County ahead of Drug Overdose Awareness Day on August 31st. As 11 Alive's Don White showed us, it is an emotional and visual representation.
More than 100,000 people have now died of an overdose in the U.S. this year. And Tennessee is one of the harder hit states. Take a look at this map showing data from 2020. The counties in blue had more than 40 people die of an overdose last year. Davidson and Shelby counties had the most deaths in 2020 with 438 and 450 respectively. This year, Metro Nashville is on pace for a record 700 deaths from an overdose, and News Channel 5's Levi Ismail explains there is more help on the horizon for those struggling.
His number? My wife.
205.
I know that.
269. 5171.
Stephen, I hit that button on the wall, knocked it off.
Hello? No, they're still here in the kitchen playing. Oh, okay, here she is.
Hello? I'm all mixed up on going to church. Everything changed. What? I told I should say that.
Say
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I'm gonna get a dinner tasting market with wine.
Have you been testing it and seeing what all it does? Like examining it back and forth?
I've zoomed it in now a little bit.
Like a camera here?
It's working right.
Do you like the camera?
Looks like it is.
It's nice.
That's all got me.
Love you, Dad.
Right?
Yeah.
Are y'all leaving, Bryan?
No, I'm still gonna follow down your house and then go to the house and then we'll bring back to you.
I was gonna get the birthday present. Of course, you can't get cash from that.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I like that, man. That's nice. Do what? Oh, yeah, you will. You might should. Cool.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
I am super excited for you and all of your photos, all of your the filming, all of it. You being good, staying off of drugs, not messing with people you don't need to mess with. I'm extremely excited for you and for your future.
Step over the edge too far.
Like for the entry, like for the title, I'm gonna spray paint it on something. It's gonna be the entry, and then the title, I'm gonna spray paint it on the wall. Like direct by Dre on the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I walk in the frame, I spray paint it, and then
Yeah.
Praying a lot more lately, and like you mentioning God and stuff, and so I like that. It's good stuff, man. Without God, we can't do what we do.
She brushes my hair with a physical hand, lowers my body down to the land.
Yes, sir. Get up. Got the, what else? The Timu? Oh, what is? Oh, he cooked.
how much is
So what's up?
What up?
Where we going, Jeff?
Kids don't do this at home. That's all.
Beneath the legend morning mist, she kisses my eyelids and my wrists. Wake to the bleeding of the blade of the sun, returning to my oxygen.
I can't lose the connection, bro. sit here captivated in my head, feeling every single emotion. In this moment, I feel a sense of solitude and stillness. However, I feel submerged in my own thoughts and feelings. I can't evade it. Nothing to distract myself with. So I have to face it head on. There is no running away from this. I'm sober, fully aware of everything around me. The pain is real. The euphoria is real. Everything is clear, somewhat beautiful in a way. There is no toxins in my body. I'm healthy. Going on 17 years sober. My body, my vessel is clean. It's beautiful going through this life sober, but it's painful. It's hard. I feel out of place a lot of times. Like I have nobody. Like I have nobody to turn to. I would be in a room full of people and still felt alone just because I say no to bad influence. A lot of times, a lot of situations, when I feel alone, it's because I'm sober. But that is what is best for me. Being sober or becoming sober, you have to make sacrifices. You have to change your perspective. You might lose a lot of people. You might miss out on a lot of things. But those things you're sacrificing aren't benefiting you spiritually, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Yes, there is pain and growth, but think of the longevity of peace and clarity you get out of it. I would rather hurt to better myself than hurt to stay where I am. Sobriety. This is a mindset. This is a lifestyle. To this point, I've stayed sober through the adversity. I've had examples on examples of what not to do. Everything I do is for my family. This film you are taking in is for my family. This film is the story of my life, the story of our lives. I love each and every single one of you. It's crazy to say, but we are the broken people. Each of us have been through trials and tribulations and traumatic experiences, but that is what makes us who we are. I'm proud. I'm proud of us. I wanted to share our story because I feel like it matters and I know it will help someone. To this day, we are still going through this thing we call life, and there will be more highs and lows. But I believe we can get through it. I believe we can get through it all. The pain we have went through hasn't been for nothing. I truly believe each of us had to go through this pain just so I could make a change for the better. This is a generational curse, and I'm the one that's going to break it. A film directed and written by me. A true story. I love y'all. This is for us. Sober. Ever woke up in the middle of the night to an inanimate object? No? Well, it's happened. On my days of sobriety, a mere plant has screamed every soul in the book for me to give in. You can try to occupy yourself
with your mere tasks all you want, but the feeling doesn't stop overwhelming your body. Your brain starts to send signals to your tongue, craving that taste, feeling hopeless without it. You look around, and there's no one to stop you. It's a Friday night. Surely I can just give in one night and be fine by Monday. You said that last month. Suddenly, the itching and sweating starts, and your body hates it. And suddenly, you sin again. You've picked up that inanimate object and consumed the toxins within your vessel.
When I grab me by the hand, you hesitate, with a subtle inclination to tell a man straight. Your sister was a savior and your mother is a saint. Sometimes a woman is the sum of all the things her father ain't. And men are just the sum of all the things their mothers did. They'll spend their lives searching for the love they had as kids. My vices ain't a place to replace a loving home. You can't expect a harvest where the field's half grown. You can't choose your blood, but you can choose to change the chains that chain you down when you was just a child. And forgiveness ain't an easy road to go, but I know that it's a road worth heading down. When I see myself, I see your eyes. Reflections nowadays are a calm surprise. If the older I get, the more I become. All the things I saw I'd always run from. But I'll raise myself a family and right the wrong of some imperfect people who are only half grown. 'Cause you can't choose your blood, but you can choose to change the chains that chain you down when you was just a child. And forgiveness ain't an easy road to go, but I know that it's a road worth going down. When I grab you by the hand, you hesitate, with the subtle inclination to tell a man straight. Your sister was a savior and your mother is a saint. Sometimes a woman is the sum of all the things her father ain't.
I truly believe everything happened for a reason. This is the story, my family story. The first time it's being told, well, on a platform. take your time and listen. This is my family's testimony.
Tune I want to do called Hills Kitchen.
Do it.
Can't play the guitar.
Show me some of your rap moves.
That's something that's I think would be pretty cool though. Yeah, he said to go away and we'll be here at 10 o'clock in the morning or so, probably.
10 o'clock?
Yeah. Love you, Merry Christmas.
Love you, y'all be careful.
Love you, Merlo. In the morning. Cat Merlo and Bryan.
I am Bryan. Merlo's Bryan.
She's Merlo of the Hounds.
Merlo's Bryan.
Smile for the camera one more time.
Bye, camera.
Bye, Maria. Bye, Stephen.
Hey, bro, I love you, Stephen. Bye, Maria. So what's up?
Not much.
Hey, toss me a lighter. Got a lighter?
Do you like your presents you got?
I did like, especially like journal stuff. So I can do my writing.
Who got you the journal?
Nanny.
Wow. There you go. I want to give you some more money, though. Tell Bryan that too. I'll give it to you now. That way you have it after Christmas.
Huh?
I'll give it to you after Christmas. That way you have something after Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about what?
If I gave it to you before, you'd spend it all. Well, now you're going to have something to spend on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Yourself something after
Yeah,
Christmas.
I really want to get to see Jackson and all.
He's going to be here. We're going to get about an hour's worth of video with him, too.
We almost got the whole song finished.
We're rolling. This is the testimony of my uncle, man. Dylan. Uncle Moo. So, yeah. This is the testimony. Just start whenever you want to, you know. Just tell me the beginning of the journey through being a drug addict. And, you know, just give me just the beginning of the journey. And how it started, why it started.
Okay. All right. My name's Dylan Scott. I'm an alcoholic and addict. And I was born in Russellville, Alabama, February 9th, 1985.
How many years sober are you right now?
My sobriety date is May the 4th, 2012. And in that, you know, I got so as far as my drug addiction, you know, a lot of people have things and then they fall off and they lose what they have. You know, I didn't really have that. When I was a little kid growing up, the first time I ever drank alcohol, I was 6 years old. And of course, it only happened that one time, but I drank some alcohol when I was 6, and like I knew that I felt different. And it was almost kind of like this, like socially like normal, you know, like growing up, you know, in different areas and things like that, different people, different family members struggling with different issues. They have different, you know, testimonies and whatnot. But it was at age 6. But I could always remember being a kid and like feeling uncomfortable. And I really feel like that's where a lot of it stemmed from, you know, feeling uncomfortable about my appearance, feeling uncomfortable about, man, just living, just being a human, you know, a lot of ideas and thoughts. And so first time I drank alcohol, I was 6 years old. And I remember when I was maybe 10, I started smoking cigarettes, like just a little bit, like not much, you know. And the family life was always kind of up and down. It was always crazy. And I think that was another kind of part of it, you know, being kind of pulled back and forth. You know, I really want to be with my dad, but I really want to be with my mom, you know. And I think today in the world that we live in, I think that's where a lot of the separation issues come from, and we kind of lean on other vices. And so I remember 10, I was smoking cigarettes, and then around age 11, I remember I started taking pills. There's like a detached part of me that makes me want to alter how I feel, and it don't matter if it's chemically, or if it's through sex, or if it's through entertainment, or if it's through, there's like a myriad, you know, of different things that kind of cause people like me to do what we do. But going back to it though, being a kid, I always remember kind of feeling out of place. And I remember, you know, growing up in the 80s, the 80s was like in the middle of like the crack, you know, epidemic. And although I didn't smoke crack until later on in life, I still remember being a little kid and smelling smells, and, you know, there was a care like to show like it was still normal. You know, but I was also very smart though. Like I always understood, like I realized that that things were going on around me. And it's like I kind of wanted like that part of normalcy of not being normal. You know, so it was kind of like, to me, it was socially accepted by the family in some ways, but also because of having brothers that are a little bit older than me. I looked up to my brothers, but my brothers and I, we really couldn't connect. Because like they're not that much older than me, but 3 or 4 years. And so kind of rewind all the way back to being a little kid, separation of parents, insecurity about myself, insecurity about my weight, insecurity about my sexuality, insecurity about my, you know, as far as like physically speaking, when it comes to playing sports, like would I be good enough? Insecurities about school, would I be smart enough? And I grew up in church too, so it's kind of like I had both worlds. It's like I can see both worlds. It's like God's there, but then there's also this other side of me that wants to clam up and kind of hide, you know. And so I started using drugs at 12. Was when I started using drugs. Although I had taken pills at 11, but I actually started using drugs on a daily basis or a weekly basis when I was 12. But, you know, I think that it really kind of boils down to this, you know, it's like security, insecurity, feeling lonely, feeling vulnerable. You know, I think that's what makes us tick. You know, it's kind of like one of the things that we need and that we desire or we want is love. And if that's out of place, then we'll go to any length to get it. You know what I mean? And it don't matter what it is. And so I kind of to speed up, you know, like I remember like, you know, I quit school. I quit school when I was 15. So this is something that drugs did to me. I quit school when I was 15. And I still remember, man, I was in the 9th grade. And by this point, I've done, you know, I've already experienced with acid, ecstasy, cocaine, crank, crystal meth, pills, alcohol, weed. You know, there was like, you know, by 15, there wasn't too much I hadn't experienced. I quit school when I was 15, and then my dad was always so gracious to me, like throughout the whole experience, and he didn't know And I feel like if he would have knew, like, it would have been so much different. And like, it hurts my heart now, like, to know that. I still remember being, I was 15, and like, I remember shopping for clothes, like, with my dad, and like, it was a 9th grade year, and that whole summer, like, I just been going so hard. And I just been putting in like so much, like, you know, just work, man, just partying and just going in. And I remember going into like the restroom at the Florence Mall, and my eyes were black. Like, they were black from here to here, and like, they were just black. And I remember Dad asking and checking on me. He said, Dylan, he said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm all right." I said, "I got it," you know. But you know, it just goes back, you know, like had I known what I know now. And that's kind of the thing about recovery, is that it opens up a lot of things. You know, in sobriety, you close up a lot of stuff, but when you're sober, and you would think right now by this point, if you listen to me, like, man, this dude's like depressed, man, like something like that. But it's not that. Like, life is like, it's big.
Who is this?
We from New York, so we don't live around this area.
You from Jersey?
Yeah.
What part of Jersey you from, guys?
We don't really know Jersey. We just live there.
You play ball too?
No, I play baseball. I pitch, I hit, I field, and I catch.
Everyone, how's the best? I haven't had a shower.
Hey, pizza.
Study mom.
Yes, it is.
Stop it.
Alright, number 6, stand up.
This is called knucklehead.
No, I haven't.
That's a knucklehead. Dylan's done.
You ready, Jimmy?
He swallowed a pumpkin seed.
Flipping around.
He swallowed a pumpkin seed.
You know, and so they tell us in recovery, they say the greatest thing about being sober is you get your feelings back. The worst thing about being sober is you get your feelings back. You know, and that's kind of like one of those things where it's like you can't make up for past time, but they tell us in recovery that service work. Kind of fast forward and into the future, by this point, right now, I'm a pastor. Like, I pastor 2 churches. I'm married. Things have changed, but there's so many holes in the story, like where there's like just these gaps or these stumbling blocks, and like these, you know, it's like in life, what happens is we go through high, you know, peaks,
so highs and lows.
Yeah, and these low valleys, you know. And like for me, it's just trying to navigate through sobriety, because you got to think, like, you know, in sobriety, I've had 3 surgeries. In sobriety, I've lost my dad, I've lost my nanny, I've lost my papaw. In sobriety, I've officiated probably at least 30 funerals because of being a pastor, and I thank God for that. In sobriety, I've married people, I've buried people, I've baptized people, you know, and like, and then another thing of it is too, is like, you know, going back through all of it, is that if it wasn't for the consequence of my actions, then I wouldn't have had the turning point of being where I am now. And then understanding an addict's like perspective and an addict's lifestyle, and knowing that you're so close to having it, but so close to losing it. And I got in trouble when I was 24. I forged a prescription. I was a garbage can, but it ended up leading to me being like really heavily addicted to opiates. Really bad addicted to opiates, but primarily pills was the cause, but it was opiates. I still remember the day I was sitting outside in grandmother's driveway. Like, I remember sitting out there and saying, hey, you messing up, big boy. Now, I was talking to myself like some real mental type stuff, because I've dealt with it my whole life. You know, I've dealt with insanity. And they tell us in recovery, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And so I knew when I was outside in the car that this was about to happen. Like, I was about to get in trouble, but I was jonesing and I was so sick. I was just like, whatever. You know, this is after cop chases and everything else, like in my life that I had been through and that I had made it through. I finally looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I understand, like, you know, like it's all right, let's do this. And so I forged a prescription, and then that got the wheels in motion for me going to jail and then going to court, then wanting me to go to prison. I have 4 years hanging over my head. And that was a motivating factor, but it wasn't just the prison time. It was the fact of dying with everything being left undone. You know, because I don't know how it is for a lot of other people, but for me, somebody that's actually intelligent, even though I might not have had that education, like there's a level of me that's always, and I'm like, you know, very mindful. I can see what it's going to be, you know, if I don't stop. But by this point, it was like, and so ended up getting arrested and did some jail time. And so I was sitting in my cell one day, and I got paperwork. I was just like, you know, like getting mail in jail is cool, you know, like kids, you know, but my paperwork was from the PO. And so, and keep in mind in the middle of all this too, because of drugs, I was an absent father. I was out of my son's life. I was out of my daughter's life. By this point, my youngest daughter didn't even, you know about me. And so a lot of those things was going on in my mind. Like I knew that I needed to get back to my children, even though I never had a relationship with the children. Like I knew I needed to get back to it. You don't wake up one morning and say, I'm gonna be a drug addict. Like that's not the goal. You know, you look at anybody that's in the entertainment business, like when they're suffering, when they're hurting, when people's clowning on them and thinking like, making a joke out of it, nobody sets out to be a failure. I never let loose. You know, it always stays balled up. So I'm talking to the lawyer, and the lawyer's saying, we don't know why they don't like you, Dylan, but they don't like you, and like they want you to go to prison, like they're gonna send you to prison. I'm like, I'm not a bad guy. I'm like, I'm gonna get to prison and something's gonna happen. I'm gonna end up possibly being a lifer. Like this is how my mind was thinking. But God was good, and some things had been previously said, and he intervened. He allowed me to get into a program called Mom's Program. That's Mission of Mercy Shows. And so I come in there and I'm sober, like straight up sober by this point. But it took 2.5 months for the benzodiazepines to get out of my system because I've been taking them for so long. And I just take them because, you know, anxiety issues, but just kind of leaning on them. And I just remember thinking like, man, in 6 months, you know, because they said I was ordered for 6 months. In 6 months, if I keep going, I can graduate. And I never completed anything. You know, I quit school, I quit sports. You know, I didn't ever finish anything. Like the only thing I'd ever finished was poetry, and you know, which that's something I love to do. But I remember being in rehab and just looking at people, and I was sitting outside, and things felt different. Like I was clear. Like I wasn't on antidepressants or anything, man. Like it was the first time in my life since being a kid. I just remember thinking, man, if I left today and if I lived another 3 months and it was that graduation day, then that'd just be something else I'd say, man, I gave up on, you know, because I was always giving up on myself. I think the wisdom of it was actually seeing people change, like seeing people change before my eyes, like, you know, and like really like
knowing it can
happen. Possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, because like when you're in the trenches, man, when you're down and out, and
you have no faith in you.
No, you don't. You know, and what's so sick, man, is there's some people that glorify this stuff, man. There's some people that glorify using drugs, man. That they romanticize about it and they make it think it's cool, man. But look, if you catch somebody doing anything, you know that they're doing it because they're in pain. Like, if it starts out fun, it is very short-lived. Anybody that watches this, if this makes it to the part of it, if you use drugs, you're only going to enjoy it for a little while and then it's over. But wisdom part was the fact of seeing people make it.
For people who are struggling with drug addiction or any addiction in general, well, you have any advice for someone who is going through drug addiction and, you know, just going through that?
Take it easy on yourself. Take it easy on yourself and grace, because without grace, none of this happens. You know, some babies are born and within a minute they're gone. some people, you know, they wait their whole life to turn 16, they get a car and they go in an accident. Some people never get married. You know, it's like, and so like for me, it's like kind of weird. It's like God's been so good to me, but there's still that vulnerable side of me because of being an addict where I'm just like, it's something about the skin, man. Being comfortable in your skin, you know, and I think that's what leads people back into it. And so today, if I could say anything to anybody else, is just give yourself grace. If you ever feel like doing anything that's wrong, like hurting yourself or anything like that, reach out to somebody. You know, if you feel like you don't know what you're gonna do, reach out to somebody. There's some people that I know that they would still be here today if they just would have reached out to somebody. And, you know, we don't know what's going through somebody's mind. You know, and so I think that's another thing too, you know, is that sobriety is, it's all encompassing, you know, so, and I want to say this before I close, this one thing here, there's a lot of people that may not understand what it's like to abuse drugs or alcohol, but there's a lot of people that abuse their children. There's a lot of people that abuse their money. There's a lot of people that just abuse other aspects of their lives, and it leaves a mark. And this is something I always say, nobody comes through this life unscathed. If you ain't been touched, you will be.
All right, this the testimony, bro. This the testimony. Walk me down why you started and like your environment you grew up in. Just what did you see and took from the people around you, and why did you start? You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, it all kind of started off in the home environment I was growing up in. It was crazy stuff going on every day. I grew up with all men. Also, I didn't have, except for my grandmother and my mother, I didn't have any other woman figures in my life. And my mom, she's a bad drug addict too, so it kind of just, I followed right in her footsteps, and so did my brothers. Around the age of 8, like right before I was about to turn 9 years old, my brothers got me smoking marijuana. I guess I could say I followed in my mom and my brother's footsteps. I hate saying that though. I hate saying that I followed in their footsteps, but I did, and it kind of hurts. But hey, we good though. We good though now.
You think just the environment you grew up in and the people you hang around, and just the people you grow up with, and affect you like in a big way?
It was literally just the people around me.
Yeah.
Because if I wouldn't have grew up around substance, I wouldn't have done substances.
Yeah.
That was like the whole little thing. My dad, that I thought was my dad, he was a real bad alcoholic. He got me introduced to drinking and stuff. And then my mom, she was pothead, did a whole bunch of other stuff too on top of it. So I already knew everything about what was going on. My mom had been arrested in front of my face for like 5 different times before I started smoking marijuana, for marijuana, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I knew that it wasn't a good thing, but everybody around me was doing it, so I thought that it would be okay. I thought that it wasn't going to affect me in any way because it didn't look like it affected them, but little did I know, I didn't see what was going on behind the curtains, like how it made them feel at the end of the day. It was never a bad thing in our household.
Yeah.
Until I started, like, whenever I moved in with my grandparents and stuff, that's whenever my whole perspective kind of changed with it. I knew that it was a bad thing. They had warned me about it all my life because of my mother and my brothers that was going on.
How long you been sober? Like 10 months?
Yeah.
Tell me how, like, why you started getting sober.
It all started with my sobriety whenever I got put on probation.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, obviously, it was, can't smoke weed at like 13 and 14 years old and expect not to get away with it. I mean, you just can't do that. And plus, I was fighting.
Especially if you smoking it at school.
Yeah,
Man,
every day. Every day. Look,
school.
I would go to school drunk. I would do everything drunk, high. It didn't matter. I always had some type of substance in me. Nicotine. That's always how it was. Literally, since I was in 5th grade whenever I started bringing stuff to school with me. Drink it on the bus, hit it on the bus, bring pens with me on the bus. Nicotine, always kept it on me whenever I was in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
And then it just moved up from there.
I feel like a lot of people do other things you're telling me that you do or you've done is people like, I feel like a lot of people do that just to be cool or to fit in, but I feel like
that wasn't even my situation.
With you, the only outcome of you getting happy or feeling some type of worth is going to a substance, you know what I'm saying?
That all changed for me though. I got locked up not even that long ago, which is crazy because, again, I'm 14 years old. Shouldn't be getting locked up for a substance whenever you're 14, but I couldn't stop it. That was the only thing keeping me, what I felt, alive for the longest. It was the only thing keeping me happy. Insane at the time until I ad sent off and I realized.
How was that first week?
That week?
Like not doing, being off of weed.
It wasn't even bad. It was just like seeing things from a whole different perspective. Like not high 24/7. Cause literally whenever I got put in there, the day that I got put in there, I went home and I smoked. That was my last little time I knew that I was gonna be able to smoke, and I smoked. I was in there for 41 days and I got clean at like the last little bit of it. So it just kind of, because my therapist, again, she was coming to the house that I was staying at, where I was locked up at, and she would still drug test me. And marijuana didn't get out of my system for like almost a month. And it usually, how much I was smoking, I was surprised that it didn't take me like 2-3 months. Because like I said, I've been smoking ever since I was 9 years old, every day. Nothing changed that. Whenever I got home, smoking. So it was mainly like the fact of seeing everything differently.
Yeah.
Man, I usually only remember stuff going on with substances with my mom and my brother, which is sad. But my mama, again, she gave me mushrooms, and she started tripping out real bad because she did fentanyl with mushrooms. Not a good idea on her part, let's just tell you that. I was just chilling, I was watching BoJack in the living room with my brother, and then we just hear come from the other room, and then we go in there. She's like seizing out on the floor. I'm just sitting there with my eyes over her. I'm tripping out. I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting and looking at her with a straight face like this. I was like, me and Jordan were both side-eyeing each other. Like, what are we finna do? Because we knew that we couldn't do nothing about it. Eventually, we just got her up off of the floor, threw her onto her bed, and then soaked her in some shit. It was fucking water. We got a cup of water and just dumped it on her. She came right back into the reality, though, but like the next 2 minutes after that, she passed out. She wouldn't get back up. She looked like a zombie. She was like dead looking. I literally thought she was dead. Her heart was beating so fast. It was crazy. It would be different if it wasn't fentanyl, you know? If it would have just been like a pain pill or something like that, it probably would have been so much.
She could have died.
She literally could have died.
I was gonna ask you, like, would you have any advice for people like who live in those situations? Like, if they're going through that, right, and they're living with like their mom, dad, uncle, aunt, I don't know, you know, anybody, bro, and they own they're drug addicts.
Just substance abusers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for people that haven't started and they're living in that situation where they haven't done anything, don't do it, man. It's not worth it at all. I mean, you hear all these crazy stories and you see how people get through it, but man, some people don't get through it. Some people just stay messed up. And trust me, you do not want to end up like one of them people. You don't want to...
Or they end up dead.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to depend on drugs your whole life or get locked up or die because of it. Or any kind of substance, for that matter. Like, you don't want to go through that. Trust. I've seen my family die from it. I've seen friends die from it. It's just, it's not what you want to do. But if you already are messed up, like how I was, and you don't feel like there's any way out, there's always a way out. I mean, I know this sounds bad to say, but find you some help. That's what I had to do. But it cost me getting in trouble for it. If you get in trouble for something to help you, do it. I mean, get in trouble if you think that it's going to help you. Yeah. If it's going to keep you from doing it, if it's going to, like me, I get drug tested like 4 times a week.
Yeah.
And it keeps me off of it because I know in the back of my head, I'm like, nah, I can't do it.
And I feel like you should be honest with yourself too, and like,
yeah. Just be like, man, because
a
lot of people,
you know
a lot of people don't think that they have a problem. A lot of people is just like, okay, this is a one-time thing, but then keep on doing it. And then they're like, this is the last time, and then pick it up again.
And then they'll be like,
don't be one of them people.
And then they'll be like, I'll quit sometime soon. Yeah. You know, later.
Don't be one of them people because I had to accept that a long time ago. Whenever I got put on probation and everything, that it's not worth it. It's not worth dying. It's not worth getting into car crashes. It's not worth getting locked up. It's not worth it. If there's like a 90% chance that if you want a substance and you grow up being on a substance, you're gonna get locked up eventually. Something's gonna happen. And to the matter of fact, if you even dying, it's gonna happen. Because You don't know what you're doing in those situations. You may think that you do. You may think that you're controlling yourself, but you're not. You're never in control of yourself whenever you're messed up. Sums up to what I'm saying. Just please don't do drugs. Please do not do drugs. You do not want to end up like any of these people that have died and got locked up and everything. Like, you don't want to have to deal with getting took away from your family like how I did because I was on a substance. You don't want to have to deal with that. Your family don't want to have to deal with that. Think about how much you matter to people. Please, think about how much your worth is before you put a drug in front of yourself. Because like I said, I had times where I thought that was literally the only thing keeping me alive, but it wasn't. I realized that the people around me were the only thing keeping me alive. They were just doing it. So as soon as I got sober and I got took off of substances and I got locked up, it, like, my whole perspective changed. If you are sober and if you've been sober, you haven't touched nothing, please don't. That's just a whole little situation. I know Draven, he's never picked up anything, ever. And it's gonna stay like that. We're gonna push you so it can stay like that. And if it ever comes down to me giving him something, no. If I ever see him with something, I'm decking him. You best believe we finna bump.
Because you got real love for him.
I do, bro. And I mean, I strive for your fucking, like, it's just a fact of being so proud that you're, like, literally the only person in the family that hasn't done anything. Because everybody else has been fucked up at least once or twice in their life. Or, like all the other ones, and they're druggies or alcoholics. And they can't get off of it.
Yeah, and they're forever like that.
Forever. Not what I needed to say out. It feels weird, though. It feels real weird.
It feels weird talking about it?
Yeah. And just knowing the fact that I just got that out on camera.
I know.
It's so weird.
We have had thousands of conversations about this, but
yeah.
I mean, you ain't never.
It's never been filmed,
publicly
recorded, bro. Never.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Tigers.
Tigers. Okay. Auburn. Auburn. War Eagle.
Here's Bryan.
Loud and color.
Here's Dylan one. There's one, Dylan.
There you go, Steph. Over for the camera. Over. You smile big. Let's see you get him. Get him shut up. What do you got there, Steph? What's it there? What is that? G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. It's gonna be foul, man. Okay, I'm looking. There's Dylan. He's going.
Alright, this is the testimony of my uncle, man, Stephen.
What's up, y'all?
And just, yeah, you can just, I guess you start when you were a kid and work your way up.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you the background on your daddy's side of the family, on the Scotts, because you know testimony and all. I'll give you mine as well, but you need to know if we're working with generational curses, so to speak, and we're sober. That's the name of the game. Well, you know, you got to know where the background comes from on what the struggle is, you know. And I can go back a couple of generations for you to let you know, let you know what you got going on. I want to start with your great-great-grandfather. My great-grandfather, Clifford Scott. He was an alcoholic. He was my grandfather's father, and he was a tough old guy. You know, he was a demolition man. He blew up stuff for a living. That's what he did. And before that, he made whiskey. You know, back in the day, bootleggers was what everybody did. You know, and he was a heavy drinker, and in the end of his life, he became a pill taker. He lived with my Uncle Jesse, his son, his second oldest son, there at the end of his life, you know, and he spent all his money living with Uncle Jesse. And when his money ran out, my grandfather supposedly just got real bad depressed and started taking pills. He got strung out on Valiums real bad, and he committed suicide at 80-something years old with 2/5 of liquor and about 40-something volumes. And he'd been doing this stuff for a long, long time, you know. So it's in the blood way far back, you know. And that's just with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it translated over, you know, that was his, that's how it goes back on that side. But my grandmother, your you know, great-grandmother, I guess she would have been. I called her my nanny. She was a pill user back when I was a kid and before, and I didn't, nobody in the family knew about it. They kept it hush-hush, you know, because back in the day, that's not something that you just really let get out. And she got so bad on a pill called Somas that her doctor passed away after she'd been taking them for several years. Well, she wanted them so badly, she went into his doctor's office after he died and got a prescription pad. My grandmother run around writing prescriptions for herself for 4 or 5 years. Nobody caught on to it. And she was doing it for herself. And it finally got so bad that she took a bunch of them, got her prescription filled, and she even had a pharmacist in the town we lived in. I don't want to mention names, but he was giving them to her, you know, behind the counter, so to speak, without having a prescription form or anything. And Nanny, she took a bunch of them one day, and she ended up driving in to the bank, to the drive-thru, crashed the car into the drive-thru. And that's when the family actually found out she had a problem. She kept it hid for all those years herself. And then, you know, she had to go to Birmingham, to Bradford or something like that for 6-8 months to get cleaned up off of it. Addiction was one of those things that you don't know how bad you got it till you got it. So it's best to always stay clear if you can, and don't find it out the hard way. Not all lessons to be learned have to be learned like that through experience, in my opinion. Sometimes you just need to listen to what folks say and just take from it and say, hey, I don't need to mess with that. You know, and that was where those people went. And then, of course, my brothers and I, we all have fought with it, every one of us. And it's an ongoing battle for most of us, you know, and it shouldn't be, but it's hard to, it's, once, like the opioid addiction, the opioid epidemic, when it come about, I was in my mid-20s. All you had to do was get on the internet, and you could order up as many of the Lorcets hydrocodone tablets as you wanted. You could get hundreds of them.
That's crazy.
Hundreds of them, man. Have them mailed straight to your house. And that's what our country wanted for us at that time. I do not know why. They shouldn't have made it so easy to get, but they did. And then, you know, then they killed all of it, but they already had addicts running around all over the place, you know, and it caused a problem. Oxycontin was the big one, you know. I'm glad it's gone, because I tried them myself. You know, I did not have an opioid addiction ever until later on in life myself. You know, I've smoked marijuana off and on my whole life, and it's illegal here, so you got to call it a drug here. I mean, it leads on to other things. I would like to say that it doesn't, but I'm not going to tout that and say that it doesn't, because it does. My first gateway was nicotine, believe it or not, cigarettes, because it was cool. Everybody was smoking. I was 14 years old, and Camel had this big promotion thing where Joe Camel was everywhere, and you wanted to be cool. You wanted to have the Joe Camel shirts. You wanted to, you know, you wanted to be cool. You just did, and that's what your friends were doing, so that's where I started at. And then I started smoking pot, and then I stuck to that for years and years and years. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, pain pills were always around. So in my mid to late 30s, I started taking them too. And it has been an epic battle to put them away. And I have, but it's not been easy. I don't take methadone, I don't take Suboxone, I don't take any of the stuff they use for kickers to come off the stuff. I just come off of it, period. Not easy to do. I mean, it's a miserable thing to do, and it's a good thing not to have to go through it, because it's a struggle that so many people have gone through and have dealt with it. And I promise you, anyone that has is going to tell you, I wish I'd have never picked up the first one of those things, because it makes you warm, it makes you have energy, it makes you feel good. You know, like in a movie I seen one time, it takes all your good feelings and turns them, or bad feelings, turns them into good feelings, you know, and that's hard to turn away from that kind of stuff once you get a hold of it. If you have God in your life, maybe, you know, you can God can keep you away from them. But you know, there's going to be times in life where you're going to be faced with stuff, and you're going to have to be able to say no. That's why I'm happy to be here in front of this camera today and tell you that, you know, so many people, many more people should be open with their family and do things like this, so you can get to know and you can see why you want to be sober.
Yeah.
Because clean life is a good life. You don't need those things that you go chasing around every day, getting in your car, making whatever money you can, running around chasing after the stuff. Because it's illegal, it's dangerous, it's all time consuming, and it's money consuming. And then it'll tear your life up, tear your families up, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. If you can stay away from it, you should. And I advise that to anybody that hears this, to please, if you're having problems, talk to someone, reach out, tell somebody you need help. Don't keep going down the path you're going, because your life is the only one you got.
Yeah.
And the more you damage it, the harder it is to recover from those things. I'll always be in recovery, no matter what. I'll never be past it, even if I am past it. You know, I'll never feel past it, because it's always right there. And in my mind, oh, I felt better like this, but I didn't. It's all in your brain. Your body may make it where you can go farther and do more, like if you're on opiates and stuff like that, you can get more done. But the wear and tear causes you to create by having that false energy and false, you know, relief in your body or whatever, that it makes you you wear yourself out.
Yeah.
You run thin on what you really need. It's never going to be what you want it to be. Nothing ever is when you're using drugs to get there. You know, I can look back and say, man, if I'd have done this different, if I'd been doing that, what would I be? What would I have been doing, you know, now? Would I be sitting around worried about being broke all the time? Would I have had a college education that I should have had that I did not get? You know, I missed a lot of things because I was busy working to pay for habits when I could have been going to college, getting a proper education, and I know that I should have. I have a fairly high IQ, and I've wasted myself.
Yeah. How were you as a kid?
I was a good kid. I was really good. I mean, I made it through school, straight A's, never got in trouble, never did anything until I was a senior in high school, and I wanted to start chasing girls. And when I started chasing girls, other things come with it, you know, and you always want to be the center of attention and the life of the party and things like that. So you do things you shouldn't do, and I'm not proud of it because it didn't help me. You know, it didn't do any good for me. You know, it may help others somehow, some way, but I can't tell you how. Maybe they can lie better than me about themselves, but you know, I can't. I'm very aware of what things have done, and you know, I can't change it. I'm regretful of it, you know, but heck. Maybe if I get another chance, maybe if I can get another chance somewhere down the road, if I live another life, but I don't think that's how it works, you know. There may be reincarnation and another loop gets through, but well, I know it. Yeah. I don't think so.
So how do you feel now? Like,
I am a little bit more tired than I want to be because I've wore myself thin. I'm a little bit more nervous. I'm a lot more emotional because all those things covered my emotions. And by not letting those be a part of my life as they should have been, I struggle now. You know, everything affects me. And that's because I'm feeling for the first time, I guess. You know, and it's just been the past couple of years where I've really had to back away from everything because I've seen what happened to everybody. And it was so horrible. My son passed away, you know, during delivery in 2005, and then my wife lost the ability to have children. So I have no children, and I won't have kids because she's my wife is my everything now. And I would not dare, you know, try to go find someone else to give me kids. And as far as adopting and things go, that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's just not. Probably because my wife was adopted, and she's like, no, I don't want to do that.
You think losing your kid impacted you the most?
Of course. my life is not the way it would be, Dre. Like if my son had lived, there would have been no drugs for me. There would have been none of that mess. There would have been none of those struggles. Catball would still be alive because he would have never pushed himself to those spots either, because we'd been right there with him, and he would have a reason, more reason to push on. Because you were not around as much, Dad went into a deep depression. You know, you were his everything, and he wanted you to be there more. And then he told me, he's like, son, Alexander was going to be mine. He was going to be my grandchild that nobody could take from me because I couldn't be took from him. You know, Dad was my dad. I mean, I was the one that stayed there with him. I lived with him. I worked on the road with him. His life was my life, you know, and with Alexander gone, you know, not making it, you know, it changed your life for all of us. I promise you it did. You know, your cousin would have been a good boy to be around, I'm sure of it. You know, I would have never had the struggles that I went through because I would have picked myself up and say, I got a kid to raise. But since I don't, it didn't, it's made me a little bit more of a loose cannon. Yeah. You know, that pushed me.
It's crazy how things all come together and happen.
Yeah, it's weird. Life is life, you know, man. You can't, it's all a part of God's plan. That's all I can say about it. That's all I can, you know. I don't know what the plan was exactly right there, but you know, one day I'll figure it out. Life is a drug in itself if you treat it right. You know, you can get high on that thing.
High off life.
And you can stay that way. Just find those good spots, you know?
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You've done it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I love you, son.
Thank you.
I'm so proud to be able to look at you doing so great, you know? It's a blessing. You're a blessing. And y'all out there in this world know this man's a blessing. Y'all gonna find out soon enough.
Yeah, nice.
Scott's out.
Here goes your turn.
Oh, okay.
Just those two zoom.
Does it record?
Yeah, those two zoom. Is it recording? Tomorrow. Sorry. You see? Can you see?
This is what Bryan got me while he was in Hollywood.
I would have got you more.
And he would have got me more, but he didn't know what I liked. So he got me this. So I'm proud of it. Thank you, Bryan.
Alright, this is the testimony on my dad. Just start whenever you want to. Just introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Bryan. And let's see here. I was born in '81 to a working class family. My mother was a nurse. My dad was a construction worker, a ditch digger, you might say. I grew up with 3 brothers. I was the middle child. I played baseball, and you know, I always had, as a kid, I always knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. You know, I thought I wanted to be an actor, or I just knew I would do either that or play baseball. You know, because I like to play baseball. And let's see, when I was 14, I started getting auditions to go auditions for music videos and for commercials and stuff like that. And my mom would take me to the auditions, you know, and the directors, they all started getting notice of me and pretty soon I was getting to where I would come home from school and there would be messages on the answer machine saying they wanted me to be in Nashville the next morning to, you know, to shoot a music video or whatever, you know. And it got to the point where I didn't even have to audition anymore, you know. That I got the job without having to do all that crap. But so I really enjoyed that. And when I was 14, I had a chance to either go to, my dad gave me a choice. I had a chance to go to Edinburgh, Scotland to be a lead in the play over there, or I could go to Los Angeles, you know, for a week or so. And of course I chose California because I've always wanted to go there. And I did that and enjoyed that and came home, and it seems like when I got home is when I started to get popular and stuff in school, you know, because I was on TV and shit, and that, you know, and it just kind of brought drama on me more than anything. And I started getting into weed and smoking weed and just falling to peer pressure, you know, because I thought I was damn cool, you know, because everybody wanted to hang with me or whatever. But that's probably why I gave in, just trying to be cool, trying to fit in, you know. But so, and then I started getting in trouble. Got arrested when I was 14, going to a party. Me and my buddies got pulled over, and I had some marijuana on me, and I didn't want nobody to get in trouble, so I claimed everything, you know. And they took me to jail, and I had to wait till about 2 o'clock in the morning for my mom to come get me. That was horrible. And fast forward a year later, get arrested again for had some alcohol in the car, and my buddy was speeding, going down the road, and we get pulled over, and there's 4 of us in there, and I have to take the rap for that too. So, and I just got stuck in the system, and you know, having to do probation time and be in at a certain time, you know, having a curfew and having to report in once a month and all that crap, and it just really took a toll on me, and ended up just becoming a part of the system, and ended up going to, let's see, well, I was still doing good in high school, you know. I played ball and was doing really good, you know. I was wanting to try to play college baseball somewhere, or you know, go to study film at UNA or something, but drugs kind of took all that away, you know. Yeah, I met your mom in 1999, and thank God for that, you know. You ended up coming out of it, and that's probably the only good thing that's happened in my life, so I'm thankful for that.
When did you start having problems with substances?
I started having problems, I guess, when I was probably about 17, you know. 17, 18, I started getting in trouble, you know, getting arrested, you know, and stuff like that. And I just started smoking weed and doing other drugs, and I don't know when I ever became addicted. I don't know how that became. I think I don't know. It seems like it progressed from weed to you know, to the cocaine to just everything, you know. Peer pressure is the main thing that was my problem, you know. Always thinking I had to fit in or whatever. But, you know, I ended up going to rehabs and trying to get it right, and you know, it works for a while, but then I always end up screwing up again. But now I'm finally on the road to recovery. Finally,
yeah.
I've been clean almost going on 18 months now. So, see, most of my 20s I was locked either in jail or in rehab or stuff like that. Let's see. See, I went to prison in 2005, and I got out in 2007, the year you was born. I went in and got out and went back.
How was that experience?
Shit, it'll make you or break you. Prison's ain't no joke, you know. It's not for the weak-minded. It'll make you or break you, and I feel like it made me more than it didn't break me, you know. You have to, you know, during times it's a mental thing. I've suffered from depression all my young life, you know, because in high school I lost, you know, one of my good friends in a car wreck, you know, and that put me in a deep depression, and I think that has a lot to do with where my drug use stemmed from, you know. Just anytime bad things would happen to me or good things, it seems like I would have to put chemicals in me just to be able to feel you know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't explain it. It's like if I'm feeling good or feeling bad, I had to do something just to, like everything was an excuse to get high, you know? But deep down, I think it was something subconsciously I was covering up, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But today, I can honestly say today, I don't have that problem, you know, praise God, but it's something I have to deal with every day, you know? I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. But, yeah, I feel like that's why I did drugs in my life, was to cover up, you know, the guilt and shame that I've, you know, felt from not being good enough or you know, not being who I thought I was supposed to be, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never thought, I still to this day, I think I'm not good enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's just probably from drug abuse, you know? Messing my mind up and making me think things that ain't real. Oh yeah, you moving away affected me a lot. Damn, that hit hard on me, Drake. What made you bring that up? And during that time is when, also during that time, my best friend Dustin overdosed and died. During that same time, you had just been gone probably 3 months, and then that happened to him. And yeah, that was real bad. Like I hit rock bottom when you and your mom went out to Texas. Like yeah, I was ready to end my life then. But I kept on keeping on because I had to be there for you, you know. But yeah, that's probably the worst time of my life, going through that. But and then just you being gone so far away from me, you know, if something was to happen, I couldn't just get to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're just halfway across the country. I mean, it's a bad feeling, man. It's a tough pill to have to swallow. But we made it through it. And yeah, it made me stronger, I guess. And it made you become, you know, the young man you are too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's help who you are. Your mom was my best friend. I mean, you know, like I mean, your mom was the love of my life. You know what I mean? Like she broke my heart. Like when y'all went to Texas and all that happened, you know, that's the first time I'd ever had my heart ripped out of my chest. You know, I had to experience that for the first time in my life, and that's rough. That's hard, man, getting your heart broken. You don't ever want to have that experience that because it ain't nothing like it. Like it's feeling like it's ripped out of your chest, but yeah, I mean, we had our ups and downs, you know, and we did drugs together and stuff like that, but we were together before drugs too, you know.
You think drugs affected your relationship?
Of course it affected our relationship, but and I don't think it, of course it did, yeah, it affected it. If, you know, if I could have been strong and stayed clean when I went to prison and got out when you was a baby, you know, everything would have been different, but it, you know, it didn't happen like that. You know, I had to let the drugs, you know, overpower me and all that shit, but I had to learn from, you know, I've had to learn from all these mistakes that I've made and all this heartache I've caused and trauma, you know. And I've said a lot of hurtful things to your mom in the past, because of drugs and stupid stuff and stuff that I can't ever take back. But I know she forgives me for all that crap. Yeah, I've had moments where I've gotten so messed up that I thought I was going to die, and I've had to pray to God to, just to take it from me, and I wouldn't do it again, Let's see, when I went to Nashville, I had to go to the Nashville Rescue Mission in like 2010 to try to go to a rehab there, and while I was there, some homeless person gave me some bad heroin, I think, and it sent me into a bad episode, and I ended up waking up in the Columbia Hospital in Nashville. Dad had to come pick me up, or a couple of days later he had to come to get me, But yeah, I didn't need to be there, That was obviously a bad place, so. But, and not long after that is when that happened with your mom, and we split ways. The worst drug I ever done was like I said, the heroin is the worst drug I've ever done, I think. In the fentanyl, I accidentally done some fentanyl and it about killed me.
What's the most addictive substance?
Because it's dangerous, the heroin and cocaine. Cocaine was like the devil. You don't never want to mess with that stuff. Yeah, it was very bad. I got addicted to it immediately.
Was this like were you doing substances every single day, or was it like on weekends? Or
well, it wasn't just it was just occasionally, and it progressed and it progressed to a daily thing there, but it's way on after, I was out of school and everything, I was probably in my mid-20s, but it got to where it became a daily thing, and that's when it becomes an addiction and it's hard to shake it. That's when you have to go to rehab, and get help. But, and then I started, during the early 2000s, everybody was experimenting with ecstasy and acid and hallucinogenics and stuff like that, everything under the sun. 99, 2000, shoot, everybody was doing those rave drugs and stuff, People running around with glow sticks and pacifiers in their mouth, rolling, have a good time, The damn X days, Y2K. I was pretty much a mama's boy, but I was always tight with my dad, too. We always played ball and everything. And he always took us on road trips and just always spent time with us and stuff. And Mom did, too. She would come check me out of school and take me swimming and stuff. We had a good childhood. And I know Mom, sometimes she was working 1-2 jobs at a time, just to be able to take care of us. And Dad was on the road, working all the time. He stayed gone weeks at a time, working in Washington, D.C. and just out on the road, making that good money. Any advice I could give?
To anyone who's thinking about doing something or is on something and doesn't know how to get off of it, or is just going through addiction or depression?
Well, don't be afraid to lean on somebody, a friend or somebody like that, and to talk to somebody, You always talk to someone and let them know what's on your mind. And be cool and stay in school and all that good stuff. And never just know that you're not alone, and you don't have to go through it alone if you're battling depression or drug addiction or anything. There's always somebody out there that's got it just as bad, if not worse, And there's always someone that'll talk to you. If you ever have a drug that's put in front of you, just don't do it. Just say no, Just don't do it that first time, and you'll be okay.
That's what you tell me?
Yeah, just don't do it that first time. Because once you do it, I mean, it's gonna light something up inside of you that you didn't know existed, and it's gonna feed on that. You know what I mean? And you won't be able to turn back. So the best thing is just to not touch it. Just don't touch it, because it'll be too late once you put it in you.
Give me some monkeys, okay.
show. People who are clever and people who mind. But there's one thing. You don't announce anybody if you're clever. We have lots of clever people tonight. I mean, they are clever. Like Clever Aaron, Clever Billy, and also myself, Clever Amber. Well, there's nothing like a monkey game. But I'm clever. Nobody's lucky. They're just clever people. People who poop and burp, you know, they're just not clever. You know what I mean? And they're just so unclever. People who are clever don't poop and burp in public. People who are not clever just poop or burp anywhere they are. But on this clever show, everybody's going to be silly and clever. You might feel better. I got top line on. You want this over? Mother, reach up there, Trevor. Is it like glare?
Oh, goodness.
My instructions.
This is my mom's testimony. I guess just start off when you were a kid, and what was your home environment like? Who raised you? How were you as a kid? It's just like the beginning of your life.
Okay, well, hi, I'm Amber. I'm Draven's mom, and I'm a recovering addict, hardcore addict. I have a very addictive personality, but, I mean, hello, I have coffee, water, vapes, and chapstick all right here. All the memories of my dad died when I was 8. First issue, number 1, check. Abandonment issues. So, my dad died when I was 8 in a car wreck. Tragically, he died, which he was in intensive care for a while, but he died before I was able to see him because I don't know how it is now. Or maybe my mom just told me this. I really don't know the truth, but I've never asked. But I wasn't allowed to go into the unit. So he passed away when I was 8. I was extremely close to him, so that was very tragic for me. But that's not really what I think about when I think about my childhood. When I think about my childhood, I think more of my mom, because I have 2 sisters, but one's 5 years younger than me, and the other is a baby. She's in her 20s, and I'm 43. So my mom had her when I was in 10th grade. So when I think of childhood, I just think of my mom raising me and my sisters by herself. And even though she was a single mom and she struggled because she had lost her husband when they were only 28 years old, she did a really great job. I mean, she never, like, I didn't have a bad childhood at all. Like, I had everything I wanted. I was spoiled. My mom's parents stepped in whenever my dad passed away, which we were close before that, obviously, because we were their only grandchildren, but they really stepped up after my dad passed away and were like double present, extra present. So I was spoiled rotten. I mean, I really can't contribute anything from my home environment to my addiction, which I believe addiction is literally a disease. There's a different, I don't know the exact facts of it, but you can look it up. It's a different chemical in your brain, or something with a chemical in your brain. So, but I do believe that things we go through in life does lead us to put in drugs, and if you're an addict, then you're screwed, you know, because it controls your life. But my home life wasn't bad. I mean, I had a good home life. My mom literally took me everywhere I wanted to go, bought me everything I wanted. I mean, she may have overcompensated a little bit because of my dad not being there, but the only thing I think would factor into it is my dad dying, because that was very, like, not good for me, because I was very close to him.
Mm.
And he was an addict.
What addiction did he have?
Opiates. So he wrestled in high school. And again, remember, I was 8 when he passed away, so this is not things he told me himself. These are things that my grandmother and my mother told me. But he wrestled in high school, he played baseball, he was athletic, and he hurt his neck, I want to say. And sorry to put y'all on blast, but my dad's father was a doctor. He was a family doctor, and he prescribed my dad pain medication for his pain, for his neck, and he had the disease of addiction, so he got addicted to them really bad, and he stayed on them. My granddad would call him in for him, same way he did for me. My granddad would do the same for him. And so, I was little, so I don't remember, like, I was too young to think, like, dad was high on something. I didn't know any of that, but, I mean,
so the addicted personality was already in your blood.
I think I inherited it.
Yeah.
For sure. It caused a lot of issues in my mom's marriage. So, and he actually, that's what, really ended up killing him, because when he had his wreck, him and my mom they weren't legally separated, but they were separated as in he was staying at my grandparents' house because they weren't getting along because of his addiction. And then it just carried on to me because my granddad was still practicing when I was a kid, obviously. And then when I got hurt doing sports too, he did the same exact thing. I mean, it's not his fault that I got hooked on him, but he didn't help anything, because all I had to do is call and say, hey, I lost them, or hey, they hurt my stomach, call in a different color. I mean, stupid stuff. Like, he was very enabling, so, but yeah.
So you think the first thing you got addicted to was pain medication?
Oh, yeah, for sure, because I was a really good kid. Like, I didn't do anything until I was... So, there's actually 2 more traumatic things. My best friend died when I was in 11th grade. At this point, I wasn't doing drugs. No, 10th. I'm sorry, 10th. I was very, like, active in school, popular. I cheered. I was very, like, in all the clubs in school, all the things. Like, I was very involved in school. I was dating a boy from Russellville because one of my friends in school lived in Russellville, long story, but she went to Muscle Shoals. And so I would go hang out with her, ended up meeting someone, and I dated him for like a year. Well, he ended up getting killed in a car accident like a year after my friend died in a car accident. So there was 2 traumatic things back to back when I was in high school, and then I went off the rails. I think I hurt my back literally right after my boyfriend died. I feel like I would have to ask mom. It's been forever, but so hurt my back, had surgery, and my granddad literally just never stopped calling him in ever until he retired, until he finally either got in trouble or retired. I don't remember which one. I got hooked on pain pills because I was being prescribed them, and then I was sharing them with other people, so I'd run out and just get some more. But I got hooked on pain medicine, and then I just stayed hooked on Lorcets for years. I feel like, not years, but a good bit. And then I got the bright idea that I wanted to go to the methadone clinic, because I had a friend that went there, and she said it was the best idea. I should definitely do it. And so I literally went to the methadone clinic to get off of Lorcets, which is the most insane thing ever, because methadone was made for heroin, not for a Lortab. I definitely got on something much worse than I was on in the first place, because the withdrawal from Lorcets, like a week, maybe tops. Methadone, you feel like you're gonna die. So started doing that, and then ended up getting pregnant with you. So the doctor told me that I was 25 when I had you. I turned 25 in the hospital. I was 24, 25. The doctor told me that you would die if I stopped taking it while I was pregnant because of the withdrawal, which, I mean, he probably wasn't lying, but I just felt like I didn't have any choice really, which really sucked. So then I got super depressed. And by the way, when I was on methadone before I got pregnant, I was a trash can. It made me worse. Like, that's the lowest of the lows of the lows I've ever been. Like, I'm not even playing. Like, I would have days where I would black out for days in a row. I wouldn't remember anything. I would be driving like this too. Like, I would be on methadone, taking like benzos, which is like nerve medication, and then I would be chewing up freaking fentanyl patches, not the fentanyl shit that kills people today, the real fentanyl patches you get from the doctor. I would be chewing them like damn bubble gum. It's not fun. Like, I can't believe I'm not dead. And I would like black out for like I don't know, it's scary. So that was my life literally for what, like 11 years straight. I just lived for drugs. Where am I going to get them? Where am I going to get the money? Who am I going to steal from to get the money to get the drugs? Because if I don't have them, I'm going to be sick. So that's when obviously all the bad stuff starts coming in. Stealing from your job, stealing from your mama, stealing from your grandma. I didn't give a shit. I was not going to withdraw because it was terrible. So that happened for a lot of years. I got pregnant with you. Doctor told me you would die. So I stayed on it. And then I got more depressed because I felt guilty. And Mom was very good to me during that time, even though she probably secretly hated my guts because I was not a good daughter. But Mom was very good to me during all that, and while I was having you and all that stuff, to make sure that I didn't feel like ashamed or anything, and that I wasn't mistreated in the hospital. So thank God for Mama. But you were fine. You're here. You're good. Nothing was wrong with you. But I got even more depressed after that because of the guilt. Like, guilt is the main thing that keeps addicts in addiction. I mean, it really is, because you don't want to be like you. Like, you don't, like, what person just wants to be a piece of shit? Nobody wants to be a piece of shit. I really hope not. Like, I didn't want to be somebody that was stealing from my mom, lying, couldn't get out of the bed without dope. I didn't want to be that person, so I just felt guilty, and then I would use more to cover up the guilt, and then it's just over and over and over, so. But then I ended up getting in an abusive relationship. That's another, I guess, key thing when you're in active addiction. You choose very toxic people to be in relationships with, and you also hang out with very toxic people. So there's nobody around you saying, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, or it's not good for you. I think me originally going to rehab was for the fake prescriptions, because I started doing that. I knew this guy that was really smart, and he was able to hack into the database for all the doctors. I don't remember what it's called. It's a number they have. He was able to hack into a database and get the numbers, and so he would make fake prescriptions. Now you can't do that because there's a watermark on the back of them. They got smart about it, but back then you could. So he would literally type it up on a piece of paper, and just because the doctor's number was on it, they would fill them every time. So I got addicted to doing that. I'm talking about very addicted to doing it. And I don't know how many fake prescriptions I filled, a lot. And I would take them, sell them, because I was also selling drugs, not just doing them, I was selling them too. I was extra cool. And so then I ended up getting caught. I guess that was the original reason I went, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. I ended up getting busted. I walked into a pharmacy one day, high as, good Lord. I had no business going in public. Like, when I think back on it, I'm like, Amber. Oh my God. Okay, so I'll go in a pharmacy, and there was a girl's mom that I knew that worked there. And again, I shouldn't have been in public. So I gave her the prescription, and it wasn't 10 minutes, and the DEA was walking into the pharmacy with cops and everything, and arrested me right there on the spot. So I got charged with forgery, and then they looked back and found other prescriptions I had forged. So that's a felony, FYI. So I ended up getting arrested, and I got to go to rehab. They let me out to go to rehab, so I went to the Freedom House, and I graduated the Freedom House. It took me 6 months, and I was clean for a year. And then there's a reason why they say don't get into relationships early in recovery. There's a reason for that. They say it, because it actually means something. It's true. So I ended up getting a relationship way too soon. And the person he was clean too. He was in recovery too. Second mistake. And we ended up relapsing together, and I had been clean I had already got my year chip, so I've been clean for a year. Ended up relapsing at some point, and he had a son also. Anyways, Draven ended up getting taken from me. You ended up getting taken from me because DHR walked in one day and drug tested both of us, and he had fake urine hid in the bedroom and used it, and I didn't have anything. And they were actually called on him, but they just tested me because I walked in and saw you and said, whose kid is that? And so, anyways, they took you, gave you to Nana. Thank God I had Nana. DHR came and took Draven from me again and told my family that if they contacted me, had anything to do with me, that they were going to put Draven in foster care, and they really would have done that. So my poor mama had to not know where I was. I didn't have a car, money. I didn't have nothing. And they kicked me out. And I couldn't call my family. I couldn't call my sister, my grandmother, anybody.
What do you think kept you motivated to get clean? And when made you want to keep
getting you taken from me? You ain't taking my freaking kid from me. Like, that's just no. And I mean, everybody has their different bottoms. Like, there's a lot of people that, there literally could be somebody that watches this video that's in active addiction that doesn't have their children and they still can't get clean. I'm not judging those people. I don't know how they feel on the inside. I don't know what kind of guilt they deal with. Or, you also have people that have dual diagnosis. So they have addiction and mental disorder, like mental illness. Like, there's that too. Imagine how terrible that would be. So, I'm not judging people that don't get clean when they get their kids taken. There's a lot of people that don't. I don't know if it's because they know that their parents, because a lot of people, their parents have them, so they think, well, mom's got them. I just know, I'm too prideful. I had lost jobs, cars, houses, but there was just something about taking my kid. I was just like, heck no, I just was not going to let my mom raise my kid. I could not do that. No. So, that was it. And so I checked myself in with $200. I had 3 levels. So I had the intensive rehab, which is where you're at the first 6 months, and the second, and then you go to transitions where you can work and all that, which I did that. I got a job, all that stuff. And then other girls in the rehab would give me a ride because I didn't have a car yet. And then you get into sober living, which is where I was. So in sober living, and I also worked for the facility too. So I would watch over the girls on certain shifts and stuff, because there was a lot of girls in there. And they would let you come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I had my own little room, a little apartment type deal. And so Dre would come spend the night with me on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Mom would pick him up for school in the morning. And then eventually then we ended up, I'm not going to go into all that, but we had to move to a different location, the rehab did, and I was the sober living mom at a house. That's the house you're talking about with all the girls, and that's where you actually lived there.
Yeah, I had a lot of memories there.
Draven has a lot of memories there, because we had our own bedroom, but we were sharing a house with 20 people.
Yeah, I was best friends with some of the girls in there.
Yeah, you love that. I'm not at all ashamed of being a drug addict. like, I don't regret anything because, dude, I made so many good friends because of rehab and stuff. Like, I can't even begin to list the people, like, not just the not just the girls that were in there with me, but like the people that worked at them, the people at the meetings, my sponsor. I mean, just like so many good people. And then you make such, like, you get so close with the girls in there because you do like trauma work and you sit around and cry together. And like, I mean, you hear these people tell like horror stories of stuff that's happened to them. And we did like grief work, anger work, all kinds of cool stuff. So you get very close to those people because you're healing together pretty much. So yeah, I mean, my best friend Susanna is my very best friend, and I met her in rehab.
How was you and my dad's relationship?
I mean, we got together when we were 18, 19 or something like that. Or 19. I'm not really sure. So he came into the picture like literally, I feel like I had my first back surgery like right when I started dating him. Because I remember him coming to Mom's when I was in the bed. So like like straight up, like when I met your dad, like he didn't take pain pills. Like he started taking my pain pills. And then here we go. I mean, I'm not saying it's my fault or he would have never took a pain. I mean, he may have taken one before. I don't know. But I'm just saying, like that's how he really started taking pain medication, was from being around all my medicine all the time, the never-ending supply of medication. I mean, I don't regret our relationship because you're here, for one. And we had fun. Like, I mean, granted, we were high a lot of the time, whether it was on pain medicine or something else, but like I have a lot of good memories with your dad. We had a lot of fun. Like, we went to Nashville all the time. We've seen so many concerts. Like, pretty much all of the concerts I've been to, other than the ones my mom took me to when I was young, were with your dad. Like, I mean, I was with him for 11 years. So, but it was also very toxic because we were on drugs, and there was always fights about drugs, fights about money about drugs, fights because he was too messed up, or fights because he didn't come home because he was out doing God knows what because he was messed up, or whatever, whatever. But, I mean, I have a lot of good memories from back then. They're not all bad. It's just one of those things, like, and that's the thing people need to understand. Like, if you're gonna get clean, and the honest to God truth of the matter is, when I got clean, your dad was not clean. And I had to stay away from people like that because I never shunned anybody. I never thought bad of anybody. I was never rude to anybody. I just stayed around people that were in recovery, because if I didn't,
you had to separate yourself.
I had to. And it's just one of those things. If I wanted to get you back, I had to do it.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't end up getting you back, obviously, but and then I moved to a different state because that's why Draven grew up in Texas, because I had to separate myself.
How do you feel about life now? Being 12 years sober, right?
Yeah, well, November was 12 years. So I feel like when you first get sober, you think it's like as good as it's gonna get, right? Like in the first year or two, but it's really not. It like just keeps getting better and better and better. So like when you go to AA meetings, even NA, well, I don't know if NA meetings reads them or not. It's called the promises. It's like, so whenever you go to a meeting, they go up in the front, they go like to the podium thing, and somebody reads. If somebody from AA is watching this, they're going to be so ashamed of me. Okay, so they get up and read this, right, at every meeting. So basically it's saying, because you read the 12 steps first, right? Mm-hmm. So it's saying if you follow the steps, and I know this is not about AA, but the program freaking works. It really does. And it would actually help anybody. You don't have to be a drug addict. The shit works. Sorry. Okay. It says, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, I'm gonna cry. It's so sad. It's not sad. It's just so true. Like, are you gonna put this in here? Are you? You're gonna. Okay. It's just not sad, but it makes me emotional. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Calm down, Amber. Calm down. Okay. Okay. It says, if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. I'm so, I'm just grateful when I read these. It makes me not sad, but grateful. Why do I always cry? Okay. Basically, it says you're going to be amazed before you're halfway through. Okay. All right. And then it says, we will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. So, saying we won't regret the past because it got us to where we are now, right? And we don't want to, shut the door on it, because when you shut the door on your past, then you're not going to heal it. And that's not getting better, right? So, says you'll be amazed before you're halfway through that you're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. You will not regret the past. You will comprehend the word serenity, and you will know peace. I haven't read these in a long time. Okay. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows, so other people. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us, like money insecurity, because we definitely have that. Feeling like we can't have anything, we can't have, money, good jobs, a house, a car, all that. We will intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we cannot do for ourselves. You physically feel better, and no, I believed it. I just didn't understand how good it would get, as the years went by, I guess you'd say, because I don't know, ask anybody in recovery, people get their driver's license, people fuck their lives up. So they get their driver's license back, they get a car, they get a job, they get a house, they get married, they get, all these, they have a relationship with their family again, they get their children back, all these things that we literally feel like we can't do at all. And I'm not trying to sound like self-pity like it says in here, but it's just true. That's why so many people don't get clean, because they're afraid of people, like it says in here, and they feel helpless. They feel hopeless. We don't think that people that don't feel like us understand. So we don't know how to ask for help, and so that's why so many people die and don't get better, because they feel helpless, hopeless. So yeah, the promises did come true for me. And life today is good. Some people probably think my life's boring, but it's calm, so I'm good with that. I don't like drama. I'm just chilling, really.
Mom, just chilling.
I'm just chilling, yeah. And I mean it when I say that the program would help anyone, because humans in general are selfish, and everybody goes through pain, and everybody has trauma and stuff, so it's not just drug addicts. So I'm grateful to be a drug addict, for real. If you're in early recovery, don't give up before the promises start happening, because they do, obviously, because I just cried, I made ugly faces. It just takes a little bit, but you gotta think, it didn't take overnight for you to get in that bad of a condition, so you're not gonna be yourself overnight. People in active addiction, there's help, you just have to ask for help. It's not you're gonna have to speak up and ask for help. Luckily I had a mom that was really good at tough love, but a lot of families aren't. A lot of families enable their family and their kids and just anybody. They enable them because they love them and they think that's loving them, and it's not. But luckily my mom would just shove me around the vehicle and take me. But the last time I did it myself, and I really think that's why I stayed clean too, is because I made the choice to come up with the money and physically take myself there. I didn't have somebody forcing me. So if somebody's watching that has a family member or a loved one that's in active addiction, it needs to be their choice and their desire and their will to get clean, because if they're being forced to do something when they're not ready, they're probably not going to stay clean. But yeah, tough love is definitely the way to go. You just gotta ask for help and know that you're loved, because drug addicts are my favorite people on earth. They're the best people ever. We're just...
Nothing changes if nothing changes,
Nothing
baby.
changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Alright, this is the testimony of my Aunt Peggy.
Alright, so I'm Peggy Scott. I've legally been a Scott since 2014. I'm married to Dylan Scott, and we met in 2011, and that's where my story begins with the Scotts. But my story began many years before that. My story began in 1966 when my mother, let's say my mom Kay, was in high school and had high school sweetheart Cliff, and it was their high school sweethearts. They were first love, and he went to Vietnam because I was born in 1967. I'm 57 years old. And when he came back on leave, my mom was in college, and, he came back to see her, and they were in a long-term relationship, and she ended up getting pregnant. Well, in 1967, that was a no-no. So when her family found out, when she told my grandparents, they decided, along with Mom Kay, that it just wasn't the right time, that my dad was going off to Vietnam. What they did was they didn't want anyone to know. So they told everybody that she was going to be staying over in college and getting a summer job, but really they shipped her to Kansas City, Missouri, to a place called the Willows Sanitarium and Orphanage. And this is where they sent girls whose families could afford it. One of the snippets I saw in a newspaper article said, a discreet solution for the better class, which I thought was kind of funny. But anyway, she went there. Upon arriving there, she went by a false name. They weren't to tell the other girls, their real names or anything. It was really a big secret. And I was born there. When I was born there, immediately I, was transferred to the orphanage. So this here ends the relationship between my birth mother and I. I do want to add in that my birth father, Cliff, he did write her several times while she was there, asking her to marry him, telling her he didn't want me given up for adoption, but she just decided that it was in my best interest. And I have absolutely no bad feelings about that or anything. I was born in July, and my mom and dad that adopted me. Moving forward, if I say mom, it's Mom Sue, Sue Fitzgerald, who adopted me, because she's my mom. She and my dad being my adopted dad, went to the orphanage, and as I'm told, the way that they picked me was because I guess that my stomach was upset, And so when my dad was looking at the babies and picked them up, he picked me up and I pooted, and then I just giggle, and he said, that's the one I want. So that's my amazing way that I was chosen as a child. But anyway, so that was in August. So I was only there, I think it was a total of like 9 weeks in the orphanage. They lived in Nebraska, so we moved to Prue, Nebraska, and it's a little tiny town of less than 800 people. It's a college town, and that's where I grew up. It was a wonderful childhood. I mean, you know, we didn't have to lock our doors. You know, I had friends I could run around with, ride bikes. It wasn't so scary at that time in the world. The only thing that was, now I want to preface this by saying, you know, all of us have something. And it's all relative to where we are in life and our genetics and what's happened to us previously and everything, but everyone has something. And my dad's something was, he had a sex something. I'm going to call it a sexual sin problem. I don't know if he was ever, I don't know. I don't know why. But I do know that it did affect me. And it did affect my life moving forward. Even though I really didn't realize it till many more years later. And also I loved my dad. And and I don't know if we'll get to this in the story, but we did make amends on right before he died. And I love my dad. All my years, I was kind of like an awkward looking kid. And I always, you know, I played sports. And then when I got to junior high, I played, I always wanted to be a cheerleader, but I never made it. I tried and tried and tried all the way up through my freshman year. Never made it. Well, when I got to high school, I moved from Auburn. I went to school in Auburn when living in Peru. My mom and dad got divorced. He traded her in for a younger model. That's a whole nother story that I won't even get into. But, or how it affected me. I'm going to leave that alone, but I am going to say that. My mom and I moved to Nebraska City. When I tried out for cheerleader that year, I made it. And not only did I make it, but I made varsity football. And so it was like a really big deal. And I was so excited. You know, I'd always, you know, just been a regular kid. I'm so excited, everything like that. Well, since it was the varsity squad, I was with the, you know, the upperclassmen girls mainly. And I was invited to, I guess every year they had a party before school started for the varsity football and varsity cheerleaders, a kegger. And so I'd never drank or anything like that. Well, we went to this and I wanted to be, you know, I wanted to fit in and everything like that. So I got some beer out of the keg, took a drink, did not like it at all. Well, at one point during the evening, I call her my sister, and she lived with me and my mom for a little while in high school, but I love her dearly, but I'm not going to say any names. She had a boyfriend, her boyfriend, and she wanted cigarettes. And so he was going to go get them for her. And I thought, oh, I can ride with, and that'll take up some time. But yet I'm still here because honestly, I wasn't having a whole lot of fun. But I wanted to be there, just to be one of the people that was there. So I hop in the truck with him, and instead of going to the closest gas station and getting cigarettes, he starts going towards the one on the outskirts of town. Well, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, they're cheaper out here. And so whenever he went in, I went in and went to the bathroom, and then I came out, he got some gas, and then when he pulled out the parking lot, instead of turning right to go back into town, he turned left. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I said, well, why didn't you just go to the bathroom when we were at the gas station? He's like, oh, I'm just going to pull over here. It's no big deal. And I mean, you know, it's the Midwest, it's a country. Okay, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. Well, he pulled over to the side, he went into the field, and he came back with what I think was a corn cob, because it was back in the day of the old school handles. And I think he jammed it up in there. I'm not sure. But what I do know for sure is when he got back in the truck, he had a knife. He held it to my throat. He said some very threatening things, and he proceeded to rape me. So that's my first sexual experience, as a teenager. So on New Year's Eve that year, I purposely drank for the first time. I got a bottle of Boone's Farm Tickle Pink, and I drank the whole bottle that night, and probably a couple beers, enough to where I threw up. I'm not even drinking before this. And from that point on, it was off to the races. Now, we still have the problem in my 15, 16, 17-year-old mind. I've been molested when I was young by someone that I should have been able to trust, and then I'm raped. So I've got a lot of anger towards men. But by the time I hit senior in high school, I was drinking real bad, and I was embarrassed by the way I was acting, because I wasn't hurting anyone but myself. Sure, I might have shamed and hurt some feelings, but at the end of the day, I was one that had the scarred reputation. And even worse than the scarred reputation, I had devalued myself. So I didn't want to go to college. I knew that I wasn't ready for it. I knew that, my lifestyle of drinking wasn't going to change. I planned to change my lifestyle personally and sexually, but not alcoholically. And I didn't want my parents to waste the money. So they asked me what I wanted for graduation. I told them I want luggage and a watch. Luggage to get the hell out of here, and a watch to make sure I'm not late. Because by this time, I just hated it there. I just wanted to get away. And so I already had a job set up. Me and two friends from high school got an apartment in Omaha. I lived there for about 6 months. And so everything was still good. I did that and traveled all over. I've lived in 16 states, by the way, traveling mostly with that company. My alcoholism was still, I was still drinking and partying, but it was still fun. This went on, and I've always worked when I was in Florida, when I was 19, was the time I tried cocaine for the first time. I really didn't like it, and so that wasn't a big deal, and it wasn't really in my life that much. I ended up going to selling cars on the National City Mall of Cars, and that's when everything really started to change for me, because I became roommates with a couple of friends of mine that used to work in the office for the jewelry company. They were sisters, and I was introduced to crystal meth. Now keep in mind, I've hardly done any drugs at all. I mean, I might have smoked some pot. I really just drank. The first line of crystal meth that I did, oh man, I liked it.
Heaven.
I loved it. I want some more of it. That's when it started. I'm trying to remember what year that would have been. It would have been like probably 67, 77, 87, 88. Probably about 90, 91, somewhere like that. Anyway, so for 2 years, I sold cars for a while, but then I started cocktail waitressing. I'm still having a blast. I'm not having any consequences, but you can see the decline in my employment. I mean, I've gone from being at 19 a nationwide supervisor for a military jewelry company to a cocktail waitress.
Yeah.
But I was making really good money. But still, I wanted a job that fit in with my party lifestyle. So I did that for 2 years, going on 3, and then finally, during that time, I met a guy, and oh my gosh, I'll never forget when he walked around the corner at the bar. I was at work. He was a 25-year-old Latino version of Steven Stegall, what's his name?
Oh no, I don't know.
Steven Stegall. He decided he wanted us to live together after dating for a while. And I found out that he had a warrant out. And I was like, look, I said, that's back from when you were 18. I said, I'm sure if you go just turn yourself in, go and talk to him, pay the fine, whatever. It's been so long. I'm sure that they'll just, make you pay a fine, maybe put you back on probation. He went to court and to work something out, and they ended up putting him in jail. He was in jail for, I think, 3 or 4 months. And when he came out, he was pissed at me. Like, I didn't realize it then. I saw the change, but he, held it against me. Like it was my fault, that he had even done that to be put in jail. Well, after he got out of jail, everything changed. He became physically abusive and mentally abusive and scary. I mean, he didn't even look like, when it was going to happen, his face would change. It was scary. I tried to leave him multiple times, but he would always find me. And everybody was scared of him. And he held me in a garage with no windows. I got away from there one time, but he caught me in the yard and pile drove me, broke my neck, did not take me to the hospital. I knew that my neck was broke, and the only way it was verified was years later. I was in a car accident, and the doctor said, this is the second time you've fractured your neck. You shouldn't even be walking. I don't even know why you're walking. And that was like, I cried and cried, not because I was scared, but because of the confirmation that I knew. He cracked my jaw. I've still got pieces of my jaw that float. He told me, his guys were outside, so he had to, after I tried to get away, he posted them up and told them to rape me if I stepped foot outside. It was bad. Anyway, oh, and I forgot to tell you the way he got me there was he convinced me to meet to talk, and he put something in my beer or my drink, and when I woke up...
That's crazy. That's like on some movie type.
Oh, no.
That's crazy.
When I woke up, I was wrapped in electrical tape like a mummy from head to toe. I couldn't barely breathe, and I was in a box.
Yeah, that's on like some move, like on some scary movie type. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm just hitting the high points here. Trust me, there's a lot of more things that are just as
crazy.
Yeah. And so that's when he held me in the garage, and then he moved me. He took all my belongings, and he buried them somewhere in California. Well, a couple weeks later, at like 3:30 in the morning, we're hearing a knock on the door. Was his boss. And his boss says they've got a job that's way far away. He's sorry he didn't call him. We've got to leave now. Is like caught off guard. He wasn't prepared. It was, a groggy. It's the middle of the night. So he leaves, right? So I get woke up, and then in Southern California, it's real nice during the day, but it gets chilly at night. And so I'm like, I want to get a blanket. Well, I go in the closet and to grab a blanket, and the phone falls out. The wall phone. Because back then it's wall phones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go, I plug it in. I'm like, whose numbers can I remember? I know that he's going to get the bill. So I can't really call anyone I want to jeopardize. Like, I can't call my mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Gonna know who, yeah.
Right. So whose else number? I remembered my ex-fiance's number from, my second ex-fiance. I didn't get into that. That's a funny story, but no time. I remembered it. And he was living in Kansas City. So I called, told him what was going on. He bought a plane ticket. And then I called one of my friends, Cisco, and told him what was up. And I'm like, you're going to have to bring me clothes. I've got no clothes. Nothing. Right? And so he comes and like, I don't know. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to have to call the fire department to get me out of here. You know, and I'm walking and I'm all hyped up. Like, he keeps his door locked. I open, and that damn door was open. It wasn't even locked. The gate door wasn't locked. So I don't know if it was just too hectic that morning and he forgot, or if it makes me often wonder. I wonder how long if that door had been unlocked.
I know you felt so relieved when you felt that door.
Oh, I was like, it's unlocked. Come get me. Bring clothes, right?
Wait, how long were you in there? Like, until that?
All together, like probably 3 months. So anyway, very, you know, like I've had some, it's crazy experiences. So anyway, at this point, okay, so I go back, I get into partnership with the publishing company. The people that used to own the jewelry store went into publishing. I'd worked with them. I was great with them. Went into business with them, moved to Virginia to teach their brother, and that's when I got back on drugs. And sooner or later, you know, it escalated. Well, first of all, there was no meth there at that time. I mean, this was like years ago. It was really out in the West Coast. So I had to do cocaine.
Yeah.
I ran into a girl, long story short. Hey, have you ever smoked it? Look, you can only have to pay $20 and you can get this, and let me show you. It was crack. I tried it. That's when I was 27. I smoked crack from 27 to 42. And I always worked. I was a functioning addict. Yes. As a matter of fact, when I went to rehab, I was the state sales director for a publishing company. So I had good jobs again. You know what I mean? And I was so good at sales that I could get by with it.
Yeah.
I made people money. After all these years on crack, I just finally like lost my mind. And I mean, I didn't lose my mind literally, but I mean, I was whacked out. So I went to rehab, stayed for 4 months, went back to work for the publishing company, stayed clean for 2 years, and then relapsed. Decide I could just do it on vacation. Anyway, went back to rehab, and finally, November the 9th of 2000, or November 6th, 2000, anyway, 2009, November, was the last time that I ever smoked crack. Since I've been, I was in totally clean and sober for 14 years, and during that time, I met my husband, Dylan, which is why I'm on this video, because now I'm a Scot.
Crazy how things turn out.
And he's been a blessing. We've been a blessing in each other's life. We're total opposites. There's a big age difference. But it's like, it poses struggles because we're so different. But really, his weaknesses are my strengths, and his strengths are my weaknesses. So when I was in rehab, I'll never forget what Susan told me, the director. She said something that stepped on my feet. And it stepped on my feet because it was true. And it made me mad. And I let her know. And she said, look, I'm not trying to save your feelings. I'm trying to save your ass. And I never forgot that.
Or you want, like, give any advice to people who are going through addiction or going through, it's just addiction?
If you're an adult, don't blame it on anyone else. Even if you grew up in a family of addiction, they were in active addiction too. You're old enough now as an adult, and if you're an addict, to understand where they were in their headset. I don't hold it against them. When you're a child, you don't have a choice. But when you're an adult, you have a choice. I mean, rehab's like a big thing now. You don't have any money. You have to have money to go. You know, either you want to live a life of struggle and addiction and let down and backstabbers and thieves and, around here people die all the time. I never in my life. I've lived in metropolitan cities. Just can't put it on other people, man. You just can't do it.
You gotta
It's
take accountability for your own actions.
yeah. You know, if that's how you choose to live, live it. But doing it, you know, you can have to figure out on your own.
Yeah.
Things happen in life that we cannot control. Pain, betrayal, abuse, loss. Over the time of listening to these stories, these testimonies, I've realized that a person that has gone through trauma is going to reflect onto them. Their habits, their patterns, their demeanor, a domino effect, a chain reaction, a cause and effect. You cause this, and you will eventually affect what you cause.
Yeah, y'all just introduce yourselves and.
My name is Jackson Scott. I was born in North Alabama. Maxwell Ma Adams. I'm born in North Alabama, Russellville to be exact.
Give y'all, give the people the background on where we at right now.
It's what they call the roots, I guess, like where we grew up. Like, I guess like where we had childhood memories and stuff. Or where I aged up, we grew up, me and my brother and stuff. Yeah. Me and Jackson, for real. Me and Jackson, mom, the same. But mainly it was me and Jackson.
Alright, how were y'all as kids though?
Yeah.
Growing up. How was the environment? How was the living environment?
The environment, I mean, was what it was. It wasn't the best, but we made it what it was, for sure.
Yeah.
There was ups and there was downs. Yeah. There was times we had, you know, everything we needed, and there was times we didn't. Yeah, exactly. Just like everybody, just like everyone else and everywhere else, you know, there's stuff that goes on in people's lives. There's challenges, like with our parents, you know, they struggle with addiction, abuse, with you know, pills and stuff like that, and so that you know, that does carry over onto your, you know, kids and people who you know, call like your own friends and family. Have my brother, I mean, I say I'm glad I ain't the only child. Yeah. No, Jackson impacted my life heavily, bro. It's like I wouldn't be as strong as I am today if it wasn't for Jackson, because I seen Jackson be strong. Like I seen Jackson take licks, hella licks, bro, and then just like walk off and be strong about it and like not cry about stuff. And then I learned to do that. Like me and Jackson, we used to bump heads all the time, bro. You know what I'm saying? We pick at each other and pick and poke, make scars on each other, battle scars, and still it wouldn't be nice. It was just do it just to laugh. And then I realized what he was doing it for, is just to make me stronger as a person, as a man, growing into a boy, growing into a man, evolving. Because we ain't have, like he said, we ain't had
a father figure.
A father figure that was on point on us every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had people, like, we realized that there was people out here that had father figures and stuff like that. But then Jackson, he was just, like, went down to me. And then he just started teaching me a lot, like, everything that I know.
How did you kind of learn how to, like, parent yourself? Because I know you had to parent you and you had to parent Mason, because I know y'all had a mom, but I don't know how it was, but I don't know.
So, like, Mom grew up with us, you know. Like, when she had me, she was 19, and so.
So y'all kind of like all grew up together.
We really did grow up together. Like, she was really young when she.
My mom's still a kid, bro. Like, if you think about it, we all kids. Like,
yeah,
I don't care if you're 50 years old, you're still a kid.
Yeah,
you ain't dead yet.
So, like, a lot of like her mistakes, you know, she made in life was with us, because like she didn't have that time to make mistakes before she had kids, and like
she was new to it.
Yeah, I knew from a little kid, like, there was gonna be times that I had to take care of Mason, and I was gonna have to guide Mason, you know, because Mom.
Yeah, and that made you grow up faster too, because you had to man up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really did. Like, from living in an apartment, you know, like, my mom was the only person that was living there with us, you know, and then she having to work and then just stuff like that. But yeah, I knew, like, that I was gonna have to, you know, guide Mason, because there wasn't like Shane was always in our life, but Shane, he's always been, like, he's been disabled for a while, so he ain't never had like a job like that, stuff like that. So I knew there was gonna be certain things that I was gonna have to show Mason, like, so he would, you know, become a better man.
Yeah.
Being sober for a lot of people is really, really hard. People, you know, they go through life and stuff damages them, and they feel like the only thing that's gonna take it away at the moment is, like, you know, a hard drug or a pharmaceutical. You know, they just they don't want to feel the pain that they've been feeling for so long, and they think that that's healing that pain, and it ain't healing it at all. It's just like a blankie when you're a little baby.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing but tearing you down more and more and more. Yeah, I saw a bunch of different things throughout my life that motivated me to, you know, become a better person and not ever let things like that happen in my life. Like the water getting cut off, or, you know, not having power one day, or not having food one night, or, you know, like not having a way to go, or just certain things in life, like living, you know, as rough at some points as I did, like it really showed me, like, how to not get myself in those situations.
Yeah, I know it had to make you more grateful too.
Yeah, it made me really, really grateful.
And humble too. Jackson's really been humble from the start. Like, everything we've been through, Jackson was always there trying to make you, like, happy, trying to, like, joke and make me smile and stuff, even though I knew on the other side he had tears in his eyes that he didn't want to even let fall on his face.
Yeah, I really wanted to stay strong for Mason, for sure. A lot of the times I was really sad about our situation, but I knew, like, if I didn't look at the positive side, then he would be sad too, and it just, you know.
They both y'all.
It ain't worth it.
And then that's what I show people. That's like what I learned. That's why I'm so humble, because my big brother is so humble. I talk about my brother every day. I don't care. Everybody in the house that I live in, but they hear my brother's name every day. I don't care. They probably get tired of it, but they hear my brother and my mama name every day. I don't care. That's just how it is. And forever gonna be.
Do y'all have the same? I mean, I know this already, but for people that don't know.
Yes, we have the same mom. So, like, technically we're blood brothers. Like, we're not like
we came out the same.
We came out the same mom.
Yeah, our dads.
We got different dads.
Yeah, my dad, his name is Dylan. His dad, his name is Rashad. And they're really good guys, but they were stricken with the same things, you know. Not living a sober life.
Yeah, it's the same cycle.
One thing I do want to show with the younger people, that it really is a generational curse. Like, things that people go through, like, it carries on.
For generation to generation.
You know what I mean? Like what Dylan and Rashad went through, y'all going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it
And their granddaddies and their dads was going through it. And their granddaddies was going through it. Yeah. It's just a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, something you might not know, but our papa's dad, he was a moonshiner. So he was real rough and tumbly. Like, when I say that, like, I mean, he was probably...
You talking about cop?
I'm talking about, yeah, Bobby
Oh,
Jean.
yeah. Stephen told me about
Bobby
that.
Jean's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was...
And he
was
he
crazy.
killed himself, didn't he? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was a rough and tumbly.
That's on Stephen's testimony, bro.
When you say generational curse, you're being completely honest.
Yeah.
It does follow. You can nip it in the bud, though. But the memories and the pain and all that stuff, you know,
it's
like,
still there.
It's all still going. You can stop it though, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I plan on doing. I plan on.
It's only with the only free will.
You can let it happen.
You could let it happen, but no, it's not gonna happen.
Because it's easy to let it happen. You know, it's
It's
easy just to say I don't give a fuck.
With the next 10 years, it's not gonna happen. No lie.
Yeah. I'm 21 now, and I've never touched hard drugs. You know, I've smoked weed, I've drunk alcohol, but I've always tried to stay on a good path and stay away from pills and, you know, the hard drugs. It's really showed me, like, that there's no, like, once you step into that, there's no coming back. And if you do come back, you're coming back with scars and a lot of burnt bridges.
Yeah.
It ain't pretty going on that path. But yeah, I'm 21 now. I have a kid on the way. I have a house. I have a good job that I'm blessed to have. And running a vehicle. I'm very grateful for the life that I lived. It pushed me to be a really good person, in my opinion.
Yeah, it builds character too. You know what I mean? Like going through all that, it like
really does.
A lot of people don't. People who don't go through a lot of things don't have, you know, don't have character or don't have stories. You know, even though the things we go through suck, you know what I mean? But it builds who we are today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
How do you feel today, Mace?
I feel great. I just turned 17. Trying to figure everything out. You know, I ain't really never touched hard drugs. I just drank alcohol, smoked weed. That's about it. And nicotine, that's about it. But nicotine is probably the worst thing I ever did. And alcohol. And then other than that, it's like really just grateful to wake up every day. I'm just grateful to know that my heart's still beating. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful to look over, like, be able to look in the camera and then see my brother's eyes through it. You know what I'm saying? That shit fire. And be able to look at my cousin, see how we done grown.
I'm just grateful we all still here, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not
for real.
It's crazy.
We came a long way.
You can't never be sad whenever you just woke up that morning. So how you gonna be mad at anything whenever God woke you up this morning, gave you the ability to be thankful, to be grateful? There ain't no need for it at all. Well, I got love tattooed on my arm.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for love, I probably wouldn't be like the way I am today. For real.
The struggle teaches you love, though. For real.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see a lot of love. People think, you know, like in addiction, there's a bunch of hate. You know, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love there, but it's just
covered with pain, bro.
It's so much pain. Yeah. It's kind of like distorted, you know. Because, like, at the same, you know that they love you.
Yeah.
But in the same mind, you're thinking, like, how, you know, can this be love? But they love you. It ain't hate. It's just, you know, some things get a hold of people and it won't let them go.
It
It's the devil, though.
It won't let go. Just like y'all was saying, it's a chain gang. Just like Jackson said, yeah, I ain't gonna let it happen. Jack ain't gonna let it happen. I know he ain't gonna let it happen. It ain't falling through on our babies. No. Never.
Yeah, man, because no matter, like, how there they are, they're still absent.
Yeah.
They can be right there with you, dude, but if it's got them, they're still absent.
Yeah.
They're not fully
We were just having
there
that conversation today.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we've all three of us have gone through our parents being absent, me with my dad, y'all with y'all dads, and I feel like you don't really like feel it when you're little because you're too distracted, but when you get older you can you know what I'm saying, especially when you never even had a parent, it haunts you for a long time, you know what I'm saying, because you know what I mean, I know
you don't understand why like they didn't want to.
Yeah, because I know with you Mason, your dad didn't have nothing to, you know what I'm saying,
for real.
So yeah, it makes you feel like why, like
why me, like you did something wrong.
Yeah, but you didn't do nothing wrong.
It is what it is. It's like I ain't got no hate towards him. It's all love. I mean, shoot, I went to him and got a tattoo that says love, loyalty over everything. Even though he hasn't even been there for me, I still got love for him. I don't hate him. Cause like, I mean, shoot, I still see he got love for my mama. He don't hate my mama. For real.
You think it's what he was going through, or he just?
It was just what he was going through in his own head, for sure. He was moving with his pecker more than he was moving with his head, for sure.
That's the problem with this generation.
Yeah.
With a lot of dudes, bro.
Yeah, man. And you know, like, it's a slippery slope in a lot of instances, you know, with addiction, with, you know, being with a bunch of women, or with stealing, or with
Another thing is
the big slippery slope.
It's the blood too, bro. Like, we all got different personalities, bro, because I got both sides, y'all got both sides, you know what I mean? Like, it goes to the blood. Y'all have any advice to people who are in certain situations, or
if
who
grow
up with addicts, or
if you growing up around somebody that's an addict, make sure you take videos, pictures, like not like videos of them like slumped over and stuff like that. Make sure you take videos of them live, like of them while they still there, because you don't never know if in the blink of an eye they could walk out the room and fall over, and then you find them outside dead to a heart attack just because of what they were taking.
Value your time with your people. If you're in a situation where things are rough, or someone's in addiction, or someone's violent, or you know, just anything, just take your time as it's precious, because it is precious. There's nothing more in this world that could be worth more than time with someone that will be gone one day, you know. That's something everybody's gonna want one day, you know, time with a relative, time with a friend that's gone, never be seen again.
And I hope my kids, what do you mean? What's it called? Yeah, your sentimental stuff, like my photos and stuff. Like, I hope my kids like take that stuff into consideration, and like use that to sentimental purposes, to their own, to take pictures of like our family and like keep them and put them up in their house and stuff. You know, for like just sake of in 100 years they ain't gonna know. They might know my name. They might know his name. They might know our name. Shoot, we could impact the world hard enough for them to know our name for sure. I know we could. But in 100, 200, 300 years, they ain't gonna know our name. I promise you. We gonna be mulch. We gonna be mulch. We gonna be worm food. You know? We ain't gonna be here no more. We gonna be somewhere in eternal peace, as they say.
Yeah, anyone that's watching this that's trying to live a sober life, or trying to get off of any type of substance, or you know, having any type of mental problems or anger problems or anything like that, we're always gonna have that second chance. Like you have, and every day you wake up, you have that choice to make. You don't have to stay in the same route that you're taking. You can always change up and make a better self, or make a better person of yourself. This house, that house, this is all, you know, evidence that if you let it be, then it'll be. You gotta change someone, because if you don't, then that's it. We only get one shot on earth, you know, and I'm gonna try my shot at being the best person I can be. And I hope everyone that watches this video takes that with them and wants to be a better person and wants to help people and wants to stay in a better, positive mind state.
Yeah, just like my brother said, I hope y'all take this and strive to be a better person, to be more humble, and stop taking life for granted. You know what I'm saying? Stop waking up saying that your life is so bad when it's not. Whenever you just woke up and took a breath, and you're taking more whenever you're thinking that your life is so bad, but it's really not, because you're still breathing. But just like my brother said, it's your choice if you want to wake up that morning and clean your shoes and walk a new person. But it's a curse. Some people don't want to get out, and they won't get out, and they'll fall through a loop. And whenever they fall through the loop, at the very end of the loop, at the end, DIE, that's what happens. Dead, died, gone. No more getting back. People are sad. Everybody's sad. The whole block's sad.
Yeah, my Uncle Anthony, you'll probably see him before you get to this part of the film, but
It's after.
It's after.
Mm-hmm.
So Anthony, man, he was a really, really cool guy. He was a really cool guy. Like he loved his kids and he loved his nephews.
My brother's named after him.
He was just a one of a kind type of guy, but he was addicted, and he got caught up with life, and at the end of his road, it wasn't pretty, and we get to take that and live with it. So if you do know somebody, or if you're that somebody, just make that choice.
How did that impact y'all?
It impacted me very bad. The day I went into the morgue at the church and I smelled his blood, I've never forgot the smell of that blood that day.
Mom Jackson came out. Mom had blood on a napkin, and I smelled the iron. And as soon as I smelled the blood, it threw me off. Now every time I see blood, especially when it falls on paper, it messes with me, because I seen my brother walk out that room, and the face that he looked at me when he shook his head, yeah. He was trying to tell me it was okay, but he couldn't, because his body was telling him no. Yeah. What? It ain't never sit right for me. It's like when they told me, when I woke up from my bed and they told me, that night I knew something wasn't even right. And then whenever they told me, I was like, damn, I ain't want to believe it. I rolled back over in the bed. Mom shook me up. She said, Mason, you not listening to me? Now listen to what she said. And I go outside, my brother crying. I'm like, damn.
Something like that, bro, it makes you realize that life ain't nothing to play about, bro.
And then I seen, like, in the way they went about it, send my mama pictures of my uncle with, like, blood on the porch and shit like that. Like, that's real, like, traumatizing.
Yeah.
Like,
we went to the crime scene that day.
Yeah, the same day with the people that helped cover up my uncle's murder, and the people that was there recording video of my uncle while he was screaming. Yeah, and all that. That really traumatized him. But only thing that I can really say is I'm glad that he ain't hurting no more. He ain't struggling in addiction no more. And I'm glad I could look at my brother and I could still be like, damn, he kind of look like my Uncle Anthony, but because he do. He look exactly like my Uncle Anthony. Like, people be saying he look like his dad and stuff, like, but no. You pull up a picture, Jackson and Anthony, I mean, from the arm to the feet, they look exactly alike. And it's crazy, but it's a thing that I look at and I like laugh. That's why I call my brother almost every day, not every other day. I get a hold of him, I FaceTime him. I see him. It's crazy, because it's like I'm looking at my Uncle Anthony like younger, not in addiction, not struggling, not like going through hurt. It's like, feel me? But it's my brother. And it's crazy that my brother's named after him and he looks so much like him.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, addiction can put you in really, really bad spots, and really, really bad things can happen because of it. And that's why you just can't take it for granted, you know? Don't put yourself in them type of spots. If you have loved ones, don't do it. Don't put yourself in a dark corner, because it carries with them. So just you know, if you got kids, just make that choice. If you got grandkids, make that choice. If you got someone in your life, you know, that really, you know, needs you and really cares about you, make that choice. Because I promise you, it's not worth taking it away from you.
Yes? We can come in this morning at 1 o'clock. Yes?
Come here, buddy. What are you doing? Oh, you baby.
Oh. Look here, Ethan. No. Get that sugar out of his mouth. Come here, baby doll. Y'all been stuck there to be still for 6 minutes. Oh, he's talking. Look. He's talking. Turn around and let Bryan see back his head and see his curls. Look. Say hi, Bryan. Say hi.
This is the testimony of my uncle. Introduce yourself, my boy.
My name's Ethan.
And we're just gonna start from the beginning. Your childhood, how you grew up, living situation, parents.
Well, I was born in Russellville, in the hospital, and I came home to a little house by KP Cemetery, if y'all know where Russellville, Alabama is. And it was just a little one-bedroom house, and I have memories from that house, and I couldn't have been no older than 1 or 2 years old. And I just have memories of like watching Frosty the Snowman when I was a little kid, and I had memories of running from the vacuum cleaner when just running around the house all the time and running from the vacuum cleaner. I was scared of the vacuum cleaner when I was a kid, and just little memories like that. That's the first thing I ever remember, like, you know, from my existence of life. But after that, though, after we moved from there, we moved to Cherry Street in Russellville, over there by Russellville High School. I remember when I turned 3, I started listening to Korn. Dylan, my brother Dylan, burnt me a CD, and it was a Korn CD. And I don't know why, man, but like I would always take the CD. Every time he would burn me one, I'd be like, you know, listening to it and loving it. I loved Korn when I was a kid. Man, I have your dad, dude. I loved your dad when I was a baby, my brother Bryan. Anytime he would leave the house, I would run straight to the blinds and like just cry and cry until he came back home.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him picking me up from Little Tigers. I remember him picking me up from Little Tigers when I went to preschool in Russellville and Little Tigers, and he would pick me up. And man, me and your dad were close when I was a baby. And
y'all were tight.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, and so were me and Dylan though, and me and Stephen were too. I mean, I was tight with all of my brothers. And yeah, and so from there we moved to Isbell.
Okay.
Isbell's in Russellville. It's on the outside of Russellville, like heading towards Spruce Pine, right before you get in between Spruce Pine and Russellville. And Mom had a rental house or whatever, and that was around the time that her and my dad were like in and out.
I know that I know, but for people that don't know, you have a different dad than the other brothers.
Yeah. So me and my other brothers, well, hold on. Let me tell you like this. All right. My dad has 3 children. Me, and then I have a sister, Andrea Gonzalez, because she married Juan Gonzalez. And then I have a brother, Jason Sparks. That's my dad's 3 children. Then my mom has 4 children, which is me, Bryan Scott, which is your brother, Dylan Scott, which is your uncle, and Stephen Scott, which is your other uncle. So yeah, that's all my brothers and my sister. So, but we do have different dads. They got a different dad than I got. His was around the time that dad was, him and mom were like arguing and not getting along, and you know, and I guess it just ended up causing them to split up, you know what I mean? And like any parent don't want to just be like, oh, well, you can't have him, or like, oh, you can't have him, and like, you know, that's just, it's something nobody ever wants to go through, but life happens, you know, so it's nothing I blame them for. I love my parents. At the end of the day, we all have choices to make. I mean, it wasn't their fault that I made any choice that I made, no.
Yeah.
But did it impact me in a negative way? Yes. But still, I still had a choice. You know what I mean? I didn't have to make bad decisions. That was on me.
Yeah.
You know. But did it have a negative influence and maybe cause me to struggle? Possibly. Still not their fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're all humans and we all have decisions to make, and you know, we can't blame the next person for the decision they make. But yeah, so when they split up, I remember that being in Isbell, and then my mom started talking to a new man, and he was a really good man. He was exceptionally younger than her, which is fine because he was still a good man, but he had somewhat of a drug problem. Nothing like just too major to where it like bothered it. Like it didn't, he was still very good to me. I didn't know nothing like it. He hung the moon in my eyes, you know?
Yeah.
Just like my dad, you know, that, any man that had something to do with me as a child that, you know, was just being precious and sweet towards me, I'm gonna love him, you know?
Yeah.
Cause, I'm a child, and that's what I was yearning for, that father figure, you know?
And you don't realize that what they're like, you know, you're too young to realize.
Right, I was too young to realize that he might have been smoking some cannabis or drinking beers or taking pills or whatever they were doing back then. But I just know it was like party drugs. They were doing the party drugs. That was before it really got too deep. But my dad knowing what, you know, him knowing that it probably was going to end up there, my dad went ahead and came and got custody of me in kindergarten. But that's, okay, so we moved from Isbell to Florence. And when we moved to Isbell from Florence, I started going to Forest Hills in kindergarten. Well, I finished the whole year of kindergarten and I started into the first grade. Well, when I started into the first grade, my dad came and got custody of me in school because he didn't like the things he was hearing about, like, as far as my brother's partying. But all kids party, you know what I mean? It was pretty much my dad and my mom weren't getting along, and when that happens, the kid's gonna always get hurt, you know what I mean? My dad, okay, so I went to kindergarten in Florence. My dad came and got custody of me. Then I went first through the fourth grade in Russellville. Hurricane Katrina hit in 2006. That's when I was getting out of fourth grade. I finished fourth grade. Moved down that summer of the fourth grade, and coming into the fifth grade, we moved down to Biloxi, which we had already been because my dad had met this woman actually on the internet, and they hit it off real good. We went and visited them a couple summers, and it was beautiful. We loved it. And then the hurricane hit, and then my dad being an opportunist, like I said, that's when he took off down there. We moved in with the woman, and then I got in school. I was riding my bike to the beach every day, going fishing every day, fishing off the pier. I was loving life, skateboarding, going to the skate parks. Dad was taking me to the skate park all the time, and when he could, you know, when he wasn't working or whatever. But it was a nice experience for real, but I miss my mom and my family. You know, being that young, not seeing your mom for a year at a time.
Yeah, and you were gone from your brothers too.
Right, and my whole family, you know, my grandma and everybody, my granny, and it was heartbreaking coming to visit and then having to leave and go back.
Yeah.
I never wanted to leave when I came and visited, you know. So yeah, that really did affect me, and in my life. That was another thing in my childhood that affected me. Man, I didn't want to go back this time. This time I was like, I'm not going back. I miss my mom. I don't want to go back. You know what I mean? So I stayed. Dad let me stay. He stayed for about another year, and I lived with Granny and Mom back and forth. And then he came back home, and then he bought a house in Russellville. So here I am in the 6th grade, still a virgin, of course. Still haven't tried tobacco products. Still haven't tried any. I've had one kiss, and I've held hands. That's all I've done. I made out and held hands. That's it. All right. So pretty good kid at this point. You know what I mean? So at the skating rink, I started dipping tobacco, and started smoking cigarettes and inhaling and everything. And then one of my buddies, Skylar Hall, he came over with some weed for the first time. I had never smoked, and we went out to the bamboo forest behind grandmother's, and we got high for the first time. Well, he had got high a couple times with his brother, but I'd never gotten high, you know. And the first time it scared me. I said, I'm never doing that again. That scared me. I thought Santa Claus.
You got paranoid?
Yeah, man. I thought Santa Claus was real, and dang, I thought Mama was gonna catch me. I was scared, and I said, I'm never doing this again. So, but I did. I ended up doing it again, and I liked it the second time for some reason. I liked it. I laughed and got the munchies, and you know, it was a different experience the second time. It kind of like it's like it gave me that piece that was missing. You know what I mean? Like I could finally just
be okay.
Just or
feel
relieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of just felt relieved. Like I didn't care no more. Like you know, like it didn't matter. Whatever. I can just do this and feel better.
Yeah.
You know, when before that I had nothing like that. The cigarettes wasn't doing that. The dip wasn't doing that. Maybe for a couple seconds, but you know, this was a high that stayed with you for some hours.
I asked everybody this on the this film. Do you think weed is a gateway drug?
I think marijuana is a gateway drug if you allow it, if you let it be. Yeah, it can be. Yeah, for sure. You can just be like, oh, I've already smoked weed. Why don't I try this? You know what I mean? But then there's people just like, wait, weed, this is natural. That's not like this over here.
How was it for you? Were you curious about like how other things felt?
So the first time that I couldn't get no weed, I stole a pain pill from my mama. Right. And it was a Norco, and I took half of it. And it was nice. I liked the buzz. I enjoyed it. Well, the next pill I tried was a Xanax. And the Xanax for some reason, I was 15 years old and I could not feel it. Yeah, in the 9th grade. And then I ended up getting in trouble for, I got caught with some weed at school, and I ended up getting sent off to the Tennessee Valley Juvenile Detention Center for a month, and then I went to Autauga Hip, which is a boot camp in Autauga, Alabama. And then I failed a drug test and got caught joyriding in a car. My buddy stole his grandma's car, and we got caught joyriding. So I got sent back off to Camp Mitnick. Well, first I went to juvie for another month or two, and then I got sent back off to Camp Mitnick. I went to Camp Mitnick. That was in Jasper, Alabama, and it was more like an in your face. You know what I mean? They were like in your face.
What's the show called? Beyond Scare or something? Like when they
yeah, something like that, man. It was just more like they call it an in your face program. Yeah.
They're trying to make you learn a lesson.
Yeah, man, and they're just like pointing at you, drop and give me 50 right now, you know?
Yeah.
But the other one was just more like running all day, doing workouts, like. But the other one was like, oh, if you move the wrong way, drop and give me 50 right now. So that was my second time. And then the third time getting sent off, that was when I went to a juvie for 3 months. And then I went to the bridge for 3 months. That was the longest time I ever got sent off, was for 6 months.
What do you do to go the third time?
Just failed another drug test for just marijuana and I think opiates. Mom came and picked me up from the bridge in Gaston, Alabama when I got out. I did 3 months. She came and got me, moved in with her, turned 18. I remember, man, I was just smoking weed, and then I got a job at Sonic in Florence. And when I got the job at Sonic in Florence, there was this dude that he was a heroin addict from Pennsylvania. From Massachusetts. and he was like, hey, can you find some opiates? I'm down here trying to get clean. Me and my wife are trying to get clean. We're living with her mom, like, you know, but I'm hurting. I want some heroin. But being in Alabama in 2016, there ain't no heroin. You know what I mean? Yeah, very few far and in between, maybe, if you know the right people. I mean, this is 2016, man. Like, yeah, there might be, I don't know, an ounce of it floating throughout the whole city. If that, I don't know. But I just know there wasn't, like it was a couple years later, pounds and pounds and pounds. But, so yeah.
It was unheard of.
It was unheard of, man, but this kid, you know, he was wanting, he was 29 years old, the age I am now. He was wanting, this was 10 years ago, by the way, and he was wanting some boy, he kept calling it, some dog food. He had a box of rigs of needles, clean needles, 100 of them, and I was getting him Suboxone strips. He had clean needles, and I'm a kid, you know, so I'm like, why not? So I tried it. I tried it, I let him do it to me, you know. It was, actually, if you want to know the honest opinion, no difference. Whether you take it, shoot it, snort it, Suboxone is one drug that has no instantaneous rush to it. It don't have a rush to it. So, since I was familiar with the needle at that point, the next thing I tried intravenously was cocaine, and as soon as I hit it, all I wanted to do was smile. You know, it felt so good. And then the next thing I shot up was meth, shake and bake. And as soon as I done that, I just wanted to tell my whole life story. The next time I shot up, it was crystal, ice. And when I shot it, I blacked out. And when I came to, I wasn't even high. It was so weird. I blacked out. That was the first time I'd ever blacked out.
How long did it take you were blacked out?
Man, I was blacked out. I fell right in your dad's arms. Like, I hit the shot, fell into your dad's arms. He caught me. Yeah. I could hear, I couldn't see. All vision went black.
That's true.
Terrified. It was terrifying. Still scares me to this day. Anyway, so I came to, finally got my vision back, regained my vision. And I wasn't even high. It was a weird experience. I ended up getting off the needle by myself because it was just too powerful and too much for me. And I didn't want to live like that, man, so I got off the needle and I started snorting it. Well, one day I was snorting it and I was having a really bad day, and I went to talk to Mom, your Mimi, about God, because, like, for so many years, I was so confused about, like, where we came from and what God was and what the stars in the sky really meant. And, you know, I was so confused about creation.
Yeah.
And I was not what you would call an atheist, but I was agnostic for sure. You know, which means, like, I didn't not believe, but I didn't necessarily believe either.
You just didn't know.
I didn't know what to believe. So, so I was talking to Mom, man, and, like, I was really, really high and scared.
What age was this, 19?
I was 20. I had a spiritual awakening for the first time. The Holy Spirit was activated within me. And Mom went to work. We took her to work. Well, when we came back that evening, me and your dad, man, I had, like, I was freaking out. Like, something was wrong with me. I felt like I was dying or something. And your brother didn't know what to do with me, so, like, he took me to your mom's, or to my mom's work, your Mimi's work. And, man, I ran in real quick, and, like, everybody knew that I was, like, freaked out, and, like, my mom pointed to these two dudes that worked with her and was, like, pinning him, and, like, they was, like, holding me down, and this lady that she knew, that's deceased now, her name was Gail, rest in peace. She was an awesome Christian woman. She came and, like, prayed, and I was, like, barking and, like, gnashing at the teeth and, like, growling and making unhuman-like screeches and noises. And all the patients were just standing around, just staring, and all I could do was see, like, old people's slippers, and, like, it was just a surreal moment, dude. And I never knew, man. It took me 4 or 5 years to realize that that was an exorcism. I never knew that that was an exorcism because I was spiritually I wasn't spiritually awake. I didn't know I didn't even know the spiritual realm existed.
Yeah.
I thought if you couldn't see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, hear
wasn't real.
it wasn't there. So like, you know, anyway, yeah, so like I know to this day I do know that was an exorcism. But I was delivered from them demons. Them demons come out. Anyway, I ended up I woke up like a few hours later naked on a cold table, and it felt like I woke up in the morgue. Like the only feeling that I can describe this to you, I felt like I had just woke up in the morgue.
You thought you were dead?
Like, yeah, like I thought I was on a cold table, like I had just like cheated death or something. Like it was weird. Like I woke up and I didn't know where I was, and all I wanted was some water. And they couldn't even give it to me because I was so dehydrated. They couldn't even give me water. They had to bring a sponge and just like, and I had a catheter in, and I tried to jerk it out. Like I didn't know what was going on. And yeah, so they kept me sedated for 3 days on benzos. Like every time I would wake up, they would hit me with some more benzos and it would knock me out. Cause every time I woke up, man, I was in withdrawal, in opiate withdrawal, coming off of Suboxone. Cause I was on Suboxone and meth at this time when this happened to me. And so I was coming off Suboxone, man, and they wouldn't give me nothing for it, you know, back in 2017, like anyway, so that's before the Suboxone maintenance program was like as prevalent as it is now. Yeah. You know, but me coming off Suboxone in the hospital there for a meth overdose, like they weren't going to give me any more Suboxone. I was lucky to even get the benzos to keep me knocked out. They probably just done that to keep me sedated, to keep from bothering them, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, so man.
So that was like the first like.
That was the first like near-death experience. Yeah. That was like, the doctor came in and he was like, drugs kill you, like they will kill you. Like this was the first time I'd heard it like that. Yeah. Of course, I'd been told my whole life, drugs kill you, right? Yeah. Who hasn't heard that, right? But when the doctor came in, walked in and was like, drugs will kill you, it was just like, yes, they will. You know, like for the first time I understood it. Yeah. You know, and I was scared. You know, I'm like, yes, they will. You're right. Yeah. And so I went and stayed with my granny for a week, got sober. Man, I couldn't take it. The voices were just too loud. Go get high, go get high, go get high. You feel like shit. You feel bad. You feel bad. Go feel better. And man, I finally caved in, texted somebody. They came and got me. I went and bought a box of Sudafed. They shook a bottle of meth, and yeah, I relapsed. Right back to it. He went and got me a Subutex. Once again, this guy is now deceased. Man, I'm telling you, drugs, like the doctor said, drugs kill you. Ain't that crazy? The doctor told me drugs kill me. I get out, I go relapse with this kid, and now that kid's dead. Yeah. I just now realized that just now. 2 weeks later, I was at my cousin's house, and they were all shooting up and stuff like that, you know. So if they're shooting up, I mean, I figured I'd be all right snorting a little bit of it. Man, I snorted it, and it was Flocka. Oh. I don't know why or how, but it was Flocka. My cousin, man, I guess I spooked him real bad, and plus he was high too, so he wasn't thinking right. And I kept begging him to read me the Bible or take me to the hospital or take me to my mom's work. Read me the hospital, read me the Bible, take me to the hospital. And I was like coming at him hard, like aggressively. Yeah. And
was it the first time you had like a trip like that?
Well, no, that was the second time. The first time was at mom's work. Okay. This was 2 weeks after that, maybe a month later. And after I was supposed to get sober. Yeah. Well, this was like shortly. Oh, by the way, let me tell you this part. The reason that happened to me the first time was because the salt in my body, my sodium carbonate, got down to like a 4. And it's supposed to be at a 12 at a functioning level. Mm-hmm. And you got to have salt for all your organs to function. My sodium got depleted again with the Flocka on top of that. This time it got down to a 2. And so I was dying, but I didn't know how to tell my cousin that I was dying, because who knows what it feels like to die. I didn't. And this is a big old boy, you know, 380 pounds probably at the time. I don't know, 350, 380, something. Big old boy. He was just beating me. And I would run and get back in his car. I thought if he got me out of his car that I wasn't fighting hard enough and that I would be stuck there. That was going to be my eternity. Yeah. Like I thought that I had to fight hard enough, you know, to live. Yeah. Like, I thought I was already dead. It was a hallucination, you know what I mean? And so, he beat me, and I would dive back in his car, and then he would get me back out and beat me and stomp, and I'd get back in there, and finally he locked me out of the car, and he would stand there, and I'd just run and drop my shoulder, and I would just bounce off of him, and he would drop his shoulder, I'd bounce off of him. Well, he finally locked himself in the house. And I'm still going after this Bible, man. I'm still wanting him to read me the Bible, you know? And I'm looking at the window, and his wife's like, don't you dive through that GD window. And something about her saying GD, taking the Lord's name in vain, and I was already freaked out.
Yeah.
I thought I had to dive through the window.
Yeah.
So, man, I did. I dove all the way through the window. 2 double pane window, head to toe. I dove in it, came out the other side. Dude, if I would have landed on that window, it would have cut me open and killed me.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Once again, the Lord was with me, and I was on flocking. So I went all the way through the window, and I guess a cry for help, like I started banging my head on the ground and kicking my feet on the broken glass. I was also barefoot, and like I got scars on my feet and got a scar on my head from it. They had to tase me, and like they gave me the Prefenol, the stuff to kill MJ, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
They had to give me twice as much that it took to kill MJ. Like the amount that MJ overdosed and died on, they gave me twice that much to put me in a coma. Yeah, they had to put me into an induced coma. And I stayed in the hospital, man, fighting. The specialist didn't think I was going to make it. I had specialists running all around me. My organs were failing on me, and then I was beat to a pulp, black and blue, unrecognizable. And it was just, I don't really remember too much of it. The last thing I remember really is diving through the window. Yeah. That's the last part I remember. And I woke up and started realizing what happened to me, man. And so my family insisted that I went to rehab. Yeah. And so of course I agreed. And I ended up getting kicked out for fraternization, which means I completed the program. I still got my certificate of completion, but they said that I had been there too long and that the program was starting to reverse on me. They said that I had already gotten all my benefits by day 30 and that I was just getting bored with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so they went ahead and let me go home and gave me my certificate of completion. Mm-hmm. And it was because of fraternizing with 2 females. Mm-hmm. And but that was the first time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well the second time, 2 years later, I want to go back, but willingly this time, because I want to go. Mm-hmm. And so I made the call, and right there I made my mind up, no more meth. I said I'll never touch meth again. And I didn't for a week. I had to wait a week. I had to wait a whole week to go to rehab, to wait on the bed to open up. And I went back to Oxford, to the same one that I went to. It was so
your choice.
Yeah, it was my choice, and I was ready for it. And I was shooting basketball, man. Actually, my mom had a brother that she didn't know she had. And he ended up meeting her on Facebook and was like, hey, we got the same dad, and I just now found out that he was my dad. I didn't get told till I was 60 and blah, blah, blah. And she had been told that she had a brother, but she never believed it, Anyway, so we meet him, and here I am, strung out, ain't got no eyebrows. I've been plucking my eyebrows out because I would get stuck in the mirror on meth, and it was deformation of character, that's the only thing I could feel.
I remember that, man. I remember when you had that.
And I would pick at my face. It was just because that was the only thing I could feel. Yeah. Yeah, when I was shooting basketball that day after church at Dillon's, though, it reminded me, man, I was like, I'm sober shooting basketball right now. And the last time I've been sober shooting basketball was when I was in rehab. And I kind of feel good right now. I don't feel great, but I feel okay. I can, I'm all right. So I'm like, I can do this. I'm going back to rehab. And then I made the phone call. And I said, all right, I made the phone call. I can't touch meth until, never again. I don't want to do it ever again. I made my mind up. There's a reason I want to go to rehab. Mm-hmm. So, I have to put in the work. Mm-hmm. So I knew that if I went back to mom's, I was going to be around drugs. So I didn't. Not because mom does drugs.
You had to separate yourself.
But because, my brothers were doing drugs at the time, and I just couldn't, their friends, and I just couldn't be around it. So I went to stay with Granny until I went to rehab. And then I went to rehab. It was a success. I ended up going. I didn't go to Colorado to the Rockies. I ended up going towards the Appalachian Mountains instead, closer to home. I wanted to be like near the mountains, but also near a bigger metropolis, a metro. So I ended up going to Charlotte, North Carolina. And I lived out there for about 6 months. So fast forward a little bit later, I ended up getting my own lake house. And I loved it. I was living on the river, doing great, sober. And man, I went to Colorado, and on my way back, I stopped in St. Louis, and I just had a bad day, and I got some pain medicine for some reason. I guess because I felt like I was out of town on vacation. You know, like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas type deal. But I went in Vegas, but still, you know, I was out of town. Yeah. And I just figured I could do something out of town and just...
You wanted to treat yourself.
Yeah, man, but I ended up like, you know, doing it and waking up feeling so good, and it got me. So for a year and a half, actually almost 2 years, I ended up struggling, man, with opiates. But I still never touched meth, but I struggled with opiates. But this was a silent struggle. I didn't tell nobody. My friends don't know I'm struggling. Nobody knows I'm struggling at this time. You know, because I'm still keeping this like this recovery face on, like this sobriety face on, but in the whole time I'm in the closet snorting fentanyl, you know what I mean? Doing blues and snorting raw, which is pure fentanyl, the pure powder. And it smelled like perfume. It was so pure. Anyway, could have killed me, but the Lord spared me, man. And I got on my knees and I was like, God, I've been living for the flesh, and I know that I've been doing wrong, and I just need your help, and I can't do this on my own. And I turned away, and it started off on one day, and then it turned into two, and then two turned into three, and then, man, I'm going strong now for 6 months. I've been good for 6 months. I hadn't touched nothing, no opiates, which I did hurt my knee too. So I did hurt my knee, and that like I was in real bad pain. Yeah. And nothing was helping my pain, and so I guess that's another reason I wanted to do the pain medicine. Yeah. And then it took me by storm, but I knew I could get out of it. I knew that I was fighting a battle that I couldn't do without God. Yeah. So like I knew that I didn't need to tell everybody, because there was nothing they could do for me. This was between me and the Lord. And so I kept it a secret, but you know, here I am able to talk about it now because it's behind me. It's, you know, it's my past, and if I don't talk about it, then I can't help somebody. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's just got to be one of them things like you want to do because you want to live. Yeah. So like I had to make my mind up, like, do I want to live, or do I want to die? Yeah. And I want to live. So that's just a decision I had to make.
Yeah. Do you have any other advice for people that are in those situations or are going through drug addiction or anything?
Man, you can't do it alone. You're gonna have to have you a good support system. You know, you can't do it hanging out in the place. You can't get well in the same place you got sick. So if you want to get better and do better, you got to put yourself around better people. You got to put, for instance, for me, okay, I started talking to this girl. She was struggling with alcohol. Don't mix. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was toxic. Yeah. So then I started talking to this girl 10 years younger than me. She does nothing. No drug habits. She's what I've been waiting for my whole life. That's what I needed. She came to my life, got sober. You know? That's God. So it's God. It's a God thing, man. So, but yeah, you gotta have good people. Like my girl, she was good, man. She helped me. She's what helped me, you know, get off of it. Between her and the Lord. And you know, hard work, dedication. That's
what does the future look like for Ethan?
What does the future look like for
you? What's your goals? What do you want?
Man, I just want to be happy and healthy. Like there's no amount of worldly possessions that I could ever mentally attain. Yeah. And think that would be I think that I could count that as satisfaction. I just want to have nice things that I appreciate, that I work hard for. Yeah. You know, and understand that's just the physical, and I also want to be spiritually minded, so I can always help somebody and always like be in the character to help, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I'm living for the flesh, I can't help somebody else. I got to be able to help them spiritually by helping myself. Sober.
This isn't the end to our story. This is the beginning. I love you all so much. I'm proud. I know that it has been easy. I'll be lying if I said it's easier now. The funny thing about life is that the more you grow, the more difficult it gets to keep growing. We have been through hell. We still remain to smile through the pain. We still remain standing in the rain. Because we know there's better days ahead.
I dreamed of the day when I'd hold you in my arms again, read you all the letters I wrote, never sent, give you all the pieces of me, put them back together, put them back together again. Life has a way of writing your story for you, and the hero doesn't always get his girl. What if you could change the end to the novel they've been writing, leave no resolution? So goodbye, Carolina. Searched my whole life to find you. Hate to leave you, but I hope you'll know where I'm going, I'll be seeing you. So hold my hand as I'm leaving. Hope my pain would be enough reason. See you on the other side of the blue red sky. Now I'm going, here to tell you goodbye.
Condo at River's Edge. That's the look of failure. But I hope you know where I'm going.
Only the king of
On the other side of the blue ridge sky. Now I'm going.
Well, I see what the song is. My face always looks so fat on video.
Oh, come on, Kim. Just
Anthony and Jackson, you're gonna hold on.
No, you put it on your side.
Fixing the arm wrestle on Jackson's 13th birthday.
Dude,
Come on, you gotta do it.
Goodbye, Carolina. Searched my whole life to find you. I hate to leave you, but I hope you know where I'm going. I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you.
You sound like Amber.
House is Granddaddy, Mama, and
How y'all doing? As you notice, behind us is what they like to call Cocteau. I'm Cocteau.
It's over there next to the wall.
First yours.
Right there where it's